Welcome back. What's up, buddy?
I don't know where to begin.
Yeah, it was a crazy night last night.
Yeah, debate night.
We were texting back and forth a lot.
I was texting you until like 2 a.m.
Yes.
And then I got up and worked on my computer. Like, I don't think I've slept.
Yeah. There was a lot to talk about. Overall, I mean, nobody saw Biden as a winner.
Dude, it was sad.
It was. Well, we've been saying this for a while. He does not belong in the Oval Office. He belongs in a nursing home, right? I mean, he let him live out his days.
I believe you said he should be put out to pasture.
Yeah, and you informed me that was not
that's
a
not
good thing to
a
say.
great
Secret
way
Service,
to
I
say
did
it.
not mean.
He meant the retirement community.
Yes. Yeah, I think it was like, 10, 12 minutes in?
Yeah, 12 minutes in before he lost his first thought.
Yeah,
and
that's
it was
not good.
Like, just the reactions are crazy right now.
Yeah, you're starting to see. I mean,
everybody on CNN last night was like, we instantly started. Like, I think there was a YouTube clip I sent to you from Joy Reid talking about how she was talking to Obama. Mm-hmm. Like, and then she's like, his people. Like, no, you were talking to Obama. Right. Like, don't lie.
Well, I watched a little bit before the debate, probably like a half hour, as CNN did their like prep to the debate, and it was all Trump is terrible. Biden just has to get through the debate and point out how terrible Trump is.
Yeah, bro. Right? I've got a good quote for you.
I mean, it was almost laughable. There was so much stuff in there. One lady talked about Charlottesville and talked about how he was a white supremacist, and we can't put another white supremacist back in the Oval Office. It was just unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't think I sent you this one because it was like 2 a.m.
Let's hear it.
The truth.
Right.
Start your tape right now.
Joe Scarborough,
I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden is the best Biden ever.
She knows so long as I see nine.
Best version ever.
This is
better than he's ever been.
Trump commercial,
President Biden has a photographic memory.
No, it's
his understanding and mastery of a complicated geopolitical situation.
Everybody talking Biden up for the last 2 weeks.
Intensely probing and detail-oriented and focused.
Jackie, are you here? Where's Jackie? I don't think show us going to be here.
Sure.
Of 2 feet from
Bro,
him across the table, and he was, intense.
Walking sometimes. Yeah, so did FDR. He wanted GD war.
But he's totally focused. He's very sharp. They say he's
very
sharp in meetings and so on. Very lucid, very well informed. Biden is stately. He comes with gravitas. There hasn't been, as far as I know, a single
and he shits his pants.
That Biden made a mistake. Ageism is an issue. Americans have a rich history.
Go right into ageism, right?
Yeah,
you don't like Biden because of ageism.
African Americans.
He's older. That doesn't mean that he is unfit, and there's a lot of ageism there.
Now, this age
my God.
Obsession by the right, Joe.
It's just there's another one of Scarborough of talking about how Trump doesn't want to debate on substance, and Biden's gonna wipe the floor with him. Like, Scarborough's our guy, man. Like, we're gonna be able to do podcasts on Scarborough forever.
He's a scumbag.
He's just a complete homer.
He is unbelievable. And the funny thing is, people aren't seeing through it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. At least not on the left. I mean, the right and the people that are in the middle, they all see through it. They see through the people on the right who are just like Scarborough. They get it. They know what's going on. But that guy is just a scumbag, man. If there's one, he's mine. He's the guy I just can't stand the most. You know what I mean? Because he claims to be conservative, and he is just as swamp as you can get, and it just blows my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gross. You're right. It's swamp, right? Like it's you're just an extension for their campaign the White House.
You're the media arm of
the Democratic campaign.
It's unbelievable.
Doesn't matter. And nothing you've said in the last, I don't know how long. Like, I'll say last 2 weeks because of all the cheap fakes that, and it was awesome last night, like watching on Twitter, like all the people that were tweeting at the White House press secretary, like, hey, is this going to be a cheap fake? Can you explain this, how this works?
It was
great.
There's some epic memes that are coming out today.
Dude, it's going to be, the internet's going to be on fire today
Trump
and tomorrow.
was a savage too. So was Biden.
Biden got
Trump.
Biden got that. one quote.
The morals of an alley cat.
The morals of an alley cat was a great line.
Like, he destroyed Trump in that moment. And I was like, oh, I texted you. I'm like, score a point for Biden.
Big point for Biden. Yeah, that was it though.
Yeah, and I mean, for Biden, he should have stayed on that. He should have went after Trump and Trump's morals. That's how you're going to bring more people to your side.
Yep.
But he was struggling so hard to even stay on topic.
Yeah, like if you watch, like I don't think I texted you this, but like halfway through the debate, you realize that he was just answering the last part of
the question.
What Trump said, or the long-winded. I think one of the questions was like 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
Like, are you serious?
Right.
How could you possibly need?
Well, how many times were they like, you got 49 seconds? Is there anything else you'd like to see?
Yeah,
He's like, yes, there is.
One of them was 89. You have 89 seconds left. Yeah. Like, I thought you only had a minute and a half. That's 90.
Right.
What happened?
Right. I mean,
must have been 2 minutes.
There was a lot of things in there that to their credit, I texted you this. I was afraid going into this because Dana Bash, her husband, was one of the 51 Intel members. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yes. Sorry. I was getting confused on the 16 because we had talked about that too.
The 16 economists, right?
Shocking. Another letter came out by Biden supporters.
But her husband was one of the 51 Intel.
Yeah.
Right? So he's got his own private company. I sent all that to you. And I was when I found that, I was like, get out of here. No way. Of course. So I thought they were setting the deck.
Yeah, for sure.
And I texted you halfway through and I was like, wow, CNN is actually,
that was a lot of the conversation last night was like, holy shit, CNN can actually try to do something right.
Well, yeah, they did for sure. They stayed the course, but kind of suspicious, man. Like maybe, like you said before, Biden's going to get replaced, and we've had this conversation numerous times.
I've been listening to podcasts. I think that's why I couldn't sleep. I wanted it, right? Yeah. I wanted to play that back. I can't find it in the podcast. I haven't gotten there yet.
We've been saying this now for like, I don't know, 4 episodes ago, maybe 5 episodes ago. Yeah. And it just seemed like they just hung him out to dry. Like he was left to fend for himself. I mean, it was like a wounded lamb amongst a bunch of wolves, and it just didn't go well at all.
Yeah, that was a big talking point last night too, was like all of a sudden everybody got the green light to go after Biden. And it was like they even admitted they were talking to DNC people during the debate, and everybody was in full panic mode. Well, yeah. One of them says DEFCON 1.
They have DEFCON 1. We're in a moment
what's
now.
His name? David Plouffe or Plouffe. It's DEFCON 1 for Biden, for the Democrat Party. They have to do something.
And then, we saw that other clip where the guy was like, on the Republican side, like, what are you going to do? You've lied to the American people. You've put them this far. It doesn't matter who you put in now. The damage has already been done. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you just had CNN, MSNBC running Shield for him for 2 weeks leading up to this. Like the clip you just said, like he was the sharpest he's ever been. Bro, you must think the American people are fucking retarded if you think that anyone saw him for being sharp. Every speech he's given, it sounds like he's got a mouthful of marbles and he can't find his way off stage.
Yeah.
Even after the debate, Jill Biden came onto the stage and walked him off.
Dude, that video was sad.
It is sad. But it's the same thing we've been talking about. Like, this old man he should not be running a country. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. There were some things, I'll be honest, there were some things with Trump I was disappointed in, right? There was a couple times where he filibustered. He didn't answer a question. He just went back on the attack. The fentanyl thing, Trump owes this country an explanation for fentanyl. He owes it for opioids. If it were me up on stage, a simple answer would have been, okay, I got to close the border, go after the opioid crisis, all the drugs coming across the border, and that's Biden's fault. That's what I would have said. And then I would have said, China, we know the opioid crisis comes from China. A lot of it's Chinese drugs making it into South America, making it into here.
Right.
We know all this stuff is taking place. If I find out that that's continuing to happen when we go and close the borders and we start, cutting down and China's doing it, well, then we're going to put more tariffs on them. We'll put sanctions on them if we have to.
Yeah.
And that's all Trump had to say, but instead Trump went on the attack. I mean, you owe it to... how many moms have you seen, devastated because their kid died of fentanyl now? I mean, we all know somebody at this point, right? Instead, he filibustered and went on the attack. I think that was one moment there where he could have really scored massive points because Biden was, I don't even remember. It was so unmemorable what Biden said that I don't remember.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was a few times, and obviously, like, one of the times that he didn't really engage was, and honestly, I thought that helped him. because they were designed to put him on the defensive where he does not do well. The Charlottesville. He didn't really talk about that because they know
he didn't have to. That was
they know that's fake.
I can't believe this. I could not believe and I texted you. I'm like, here it comes.
Yeah.
Here it comes.
Yeah, the lie.
The lie. Here it comes. And sure as shit, he comes out with it. And I got in this race because of Charlottesville. And he said there's good people on both sides. And I mean, Axios came out and their fact check, Axios was always fact checking it as being true up until like a week before this.
Well, Snopes came out.
Snopes too, yeah.
And so then everybody had to be like, yes, no, that's when you look at the full thing. Like, and we've known this for 5-6 years. I sent you that YouTube clip so we could play it, but I don't think we need to.
We don't need to. Everybody's seen it. I mean, if you just would have taken, and this is what pisses me off the most, right? I spent, I don't know, in my own orbit. I always talk about the people in my own orbit. Won't give names, won't give who, but I spent a lot of time trying to explain to certain individuals that he did not say that.
Yeah.
That is not what he said. You're hearing a snippet of it because the media takes what they want and turn it into an attack because they're playing for the swamp. They're uniparty.
Yep.
And that I couldn't believe he used it. I mean, and I think Trump played it perfect. He just looked at both of them. He's like, you both know that's a lie. Everybody knows that's a lie. It was just proven to be false again. And he went on. He moved on.
Yeah, I think that was clearly his game plan, was to not engage.
Yeah.
And that in the attacks, because he gets so defensive, like you would.
Yep.
Right. Like it's one of those things. Well, you're getting defensive. Must be true. Like I can come after you with whatever I want.
I was surprised.
And you're going to get upset because it's blatantly not true.
I was surprised he didn't use more Hunter laptop.
Well, he hasn't really even campaigned on that though.
I know he hasn't, but if it's me up there, I would have been like, well, yeah, go ahead, big guy. Tell me what you got. Right, big guy? You know, like everything would have been big guy for me.
He did call him Brandon.
He did call him Brandon.
That was amazing.
I laughed my ass off.
I think I have that.
Hilarious.
All you got to do is talk to him, Brandon.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, that was brilliant.
The Biden saying that the Border Patrol and the police were endorsing him.
I got that.
There's not a single police agency, very few in the entire country that are endorsing you. And the Border Patrol has endorsed me, not you. And the Border Patrol came out and said, yeah, we would never endorse this guy.
Yeah, we have not, and we will never endorse Biden. The Border Patrol Union came out during the debate and tweeted it. It's
during the debate.
Incredible.
It is incredible. But Biden's been full of shit forever. I mean, you go down his track record.
For sure.
He went and saw Nelson Mandela. He was arrested during the Civil Rights March.
Wasn't he arrested with Nelson Mandela?
I don't even know. There's so many.
I think they did time
lies
together.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, he has so many freaking lies with this guy. Like and it's so easy to point out and define. You know, like. What are you talking about?
How he used to take the train across the Francis Scott Key Bridge, except for there's no train tracks on that bridge.
Right. Or he did the Million Miles and Angie and whatever and Corn Pop and like, come on, bro.
Corn Pop. What was the other guy's name? Tube Sock?
I can't even remember.
I don't remember.
It sounds like a name that would be there. You would just call it Tube Sock. This guy comes up with the dumbest shit. There's been so many. I mean, like. Get it? Trump on the same token, like he overplays everything, right? He exaggerates things, like it's the greatest crowd ever. And he does that shit too, right?
Yeah, of course.
Everybody embellishes in the politics,
yes.
Right? But saying like, oh, I have 3 degrees, I graduated top of my class, I'm a laureate, whatever, Nobel laureate, like the shit he says is just like, shut up, bro. Like,
well, to be fair, he probably does have a bunch of degrees because every time you speak, they give you an honorary degree, like, right? So every time
he used that one too.
Yeah,
he used that one too. That he was he's a doctor.
Yeah,
no,
well, I'm sure he is.
What did he
He's
say?
An honorary doctorate.
He was
from
teaching at Harvard or something like that. I can't remember. I'll have to look that up. Somebody will find that. Somebody will get that to us because he said just recently that he said some shit like that.
Yeah.
And it was all because
Dr. Biden's.
Yeah, like when
the doctor's Biden's, I think is how you address him.
It was an honorary thing that they gave him, and he never taught a class.
No.
Shut up, bro.
No, every time one of those fucking people speak, they get a fucking honorary degree from that university for dude, whatever.
Come on.
Get out of here.
That stuff is so old.
And
you see, how about his 6 handicap? Trump about shit his pants when he talked about the 6 handicap. Dude, Trump's like, I just won the whatever tournament. He's like, I got a 6 handicap. Trump's like, that's the biggest lie you've ever told.
Of all the lies. And even then, like, I thought that was like a defining moment in the debate. Like, I know It was petty for both of them, right?
Yeah.
However, in that 3 seconds, Biden changed his answer 4 times.
Yeah.
A 6, an 8, a 10.
Right.
Like,
I mean,
what
come
the
on,
fuck
dude,
are you
shut
talking
up,
about?
Dude, shut up. This
Yeah.
is you being a
And
bullshitter.
what the fuck is this whole thing about? Well, I will if you carry your own bag. Biden,
You can't even carry your bag, you putz.
You
Like,
can't walk
even
off the
walk.
stage. How are you going to carry a fucking bag?
Who's going to hit the ball for you? Like, you... Yeah, I mean, it was...
The Secret Service guy to make sure it's not an exploding ball.
Oh, God, man, it was unbelievable. Some of the things... Obviously, I mean, we saw the poll. I think 65% said that Trump won that debate. Like, I don't know who the hell saw Biden as winning.
Did you see the poll out today from Daily Mail?
No.
I haven't had time to send it. I saw it right before I left my house to my 3-hour drive to your house. Look, I'm gonna go off on a tangent. We're going off the rails. I understand living off the grid, but this is ridiculous. 68% of people
68.
hold on, said that he should not be running for office in the poll that came out this morning. That he should step down and not be running for office.
Bro, that's
68%.
7 out of 10 Americans, damn near.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. There's no chance that he is the candidate next week. But I also saw something that the only person that will be able to get him to stop
is Jill.
And based on the fucking commercial she put out last night, it looks like she's the one that wants the power.
I'll tell you right now.
Maybe she's the one running the country.
No.
Who the fuck is running the country?
Well,
Clearly
Barack.
off of last night. Yeah. It must be. It has
when you
to be.
buy a house in
His
Martha's
people.
Vineyard and then still live in D.C.,
Yeah.
I mean...
It's got to be his people, his orbit.
It's been Obama. I mean, he was the most, farthest left president we ever had. He said things in his term like, I was just 20 years too early. Mm-hmm. I mean, he wanted to go a lot farther left and take things a lot farther than he did. Everybody knows through his dad, the book about his dad, Dreams of Our Father, Dreams of My Father, he just kind of wants to equal out the world, right?
Right.
And you saw that with some of his policies. I mean, when the question about the Paris Climate Accords came up last night, and Trump was like, yeah, it was $1 trillion bullshit deal that you bought us into, and I didn't want any part of that. We're the only ones paying for it. And he's right. In that, there was a clause where underdeveloped nations could continue to develop as they were, right?
Yeah, even China.
China, Turkey, India, the biggest polluters on the planet could go until 2032 before they had to do anything.
But we were going to be fined all sorts of money.
We're getting fined all sorts of money, and we were taking all sorts of stuff and had to take in terms of taxes and lowering our emissions, and we had to put all sorts of sanctions, or not sanctions, but all sorts of regulation on our own industries. And it killed us when it was at the end of Obama's term. I mean, think about this. This is how ridiculous this was, and I wish Trump would have said this last night. Like, when Obama did, he put more regulations on our industry than anybody had done before. We had Maytag go to Mexico. We had Ford go to Mexico. We had
everybody left.
Everybody left, right?
Everyone left.
People were leaving left and right. Jobs are leaving this country left and right.
Yeah, all the manufacturing jobs.
Well, why? The answer is they put so much regulation in place. It made it so hard to do business, and it made it so much more expensive that it was just cheaper to move somewhere else. Okay. Now, the simple thought process for anybody who at the time would have been paying attention, because they're talking about, it's the gravest crisis we're ever facing, this climate initiative, and if it raises 1.8 degrees, it's the end of the world. And I'm so sick of hearing this tired ass play. Like we talked about, there's not a single person on Earth who's like, the Earth couldn't be cleaner. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Of course, we could always make the Earth better. We've learned that since kids, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Take care of the planet takes care of you. Mm-hmm. Nobody believes that the planet's dying right now. And here's the deal. When you move industry and manufacturing to Mexico, do you think they get less carbon emissions in Mexico? Or do you think they don't give a fuck about carbon emissions?
Yeah, I
when
don't
it goes
know.
to China or India or Turkey or the Philippines or Guam or Taiwan, do you think they give a fuck about carbon emissions? Or do you think they magically are like, oh, it's fixed? I mean, and here's the other side. When they're putting out more emissions in the air in Mexico and China and everywhere else, So is it okay if Obama put all that on our, all that regulation on our companies and sent them overseas because the air above just America's clean now? Are we only worried about the temperature right above the United States?
Yeah. Yes.
Or is it the globe, right?
Right.
And I saw that right away when they did this, when Obama did it, and I was like, well, that's fucking stupid. Why would you do something like that, right?
I think a lot of people did that, took the time to dig into it.
And think about it, right?
Think about it.
And the unbelievable side of it is Trump comes back in, cuts all those regulations, and says, okay, well, here's the deal, Ford. If you're going to make a truck in Mexico, when you bring it back into the United States, I'm putting tariffs on it.
Correct.
Or you can come back here, I'll cut regulation, I'll get the prices back down to where you want them to be, or the money back down to where you want them to be, and you can bring American jobs back to America. And Ford did. Yep. Everybody came back.
Yep, they all did.
And that's all he had to say last night was, this is the biggest joke. If Obama was really worried about it, you wouldn't buy a house for $12.5 million at sea level when you said Florida's going to be underwater in our children's lifetimes. It's like, and here's the other thing with climate control and all this crap that's going on. You have a responsibility as a politician to set the generations that are living right now up for success. I don't give a shit about the generations 250 years from now because I'm going to be dust in a grave. Right?
Right. No one's going to know.
No one's going to know. Yeah. So, yeah, I get that you want to have a long-term plan. Great, we can have a long-term plan. However, I don't want my life to suck so you can set up 250 years worth of generations down the road.
Yeah.
How about you take care of me, my kids, my grandkids, and their grandkids, and let's just focus on that for now.
Right. And everybody worries about that next generation.
Right. And that's not what's happening. And there's really, it's... some of the bullshit that I saw on CNN. Oh, it's the hottest year it's ever been on record. I've heard that now for like the last 5 years.
Yeah, you sent me that thing, and that was not even. It was so we don't do this all the time. It was a graph of like the hottest days in New York or whatever, because they were freaking out like New York's never been this hot, and it was like back like 10 years, and it was like 15 times it's been that hot,
and then it went all the way back to 1912 or something.
Yeah, but it ended like
the update
20 years ago, right? Like so it's not even a accurate thing. No. Like it's comical.
It's unreal. They don't even have the data.
Cherry picking data,
and I laugh. And I the other thing I laugh about is, I'll have to find it, but there was a supercut of somebody will find it for us. I guarantee somebody listening knows.
We know who will do it.
I know who will do it. Yeah. He'll find it for us. But there was somebody who did a supercut, and it was a bunch of weather comparisons between weather in the 80s and 90s and the early 2000s to like right now. Mm-hmm. And like if it was 90 degrees and sunny out, the weather map was green with a sun, like a emoji of a sun with sunglasses on, and it's going to be 92 degrees today and whatever.
Yeah.
And it was fine. Now you look at what it does, it's like 85 degrees, the map is dark red and it's ominous, and it looks like all the global warming, and like they come on.
Well, they did that show at the pandemic too, right?
Yes.
Like all the borders were red.
Yes.
Everything made it look like it's red or black. Everything was like doomsday.
That's what it is.
And it was, I remember seeing that. Maybe we watched that one day together.
I think we did up in that place.
Up in that area.
Up in that place. I just couldn't believe it. Some of the things pissed me off, and some of the things were just such bullshit. The border, Biden claiming that he has done more for the border, and like, bro, are you out of your mind? 7.2 million gotaways, or not even gotaways, released. It was 7.2 million released. It doesn't even include the gotaways.
Yeah.
So they caught them, and they're like, okay, well, come back to, here's your court date in 40 years or whatever it is in the future.
Yeah.
Please come back. And all the illegals are like, wait, you're letting us go? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We'll see you.
Well, and then they cancel their court dates, so they basically just start giving them amnesty.
And it blew my mind. Trump said the numbers could be
18
to
million.
20 million.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Like, Trump was using 18 million, and no one argued with him.
No,
like holy shit. We talked, and we thought the total number
would have been like
was 20
or 20,
like 10 or 12 under Biden.
Yeah,
but it's 18 under Biden.
Yeah, and if you think about it, if he let 7.2 million go that they know, right? You got to figure you're getting 1 out of 5, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. That's a long border, right? And let's face it, Border Patrol doesn't have the equipment they need. They don't have the resources they have, and he has handicapped them everywhere he can.
Well, right. Yeah, the handicapping is the biggest problem.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it was the Border Patrol chief that even said, like, we don't need more people. Like, obviously they need more people. the biggest thing is they need to be allowed to do their fucking job.
Well, yeah, the Remain in Mexico thing was huge for Trump. And he accused, this is another thing that Biden accused Trump of, putting kids in cages.
Yeah.
That was an Obama era policy.
Yeah. 4-year-olds, right?
Yeah.
They roll my house. Trying to get them in bed and them coming down. And like, so I there's times where I missed like huge chunks of the debate.
Yeah.
But that doesn't shock me he brought that up. I haven't watched it all yet again.
Yeah, so Biden went on a tangent talking about the border, and let's talk about Trump putting kids in cages. And Trump didn't argue because he obviously have to, but the response for me there is, okay, Biden, you just had somebody up on Capitol Hill that admitted to the Republicans on Capitol Hill that you're not vetting anybody that's coming across the border first. You're not vetting anybody picking up these unaccompanied minors. The same person has come numerous times to grab unaccompanied minors, saying they're their parents or they're their family. You know, and your Border Patrol people have told you that they're being sold into trafficking or they're being used in whatever, slavery or whatever. Yeah. And you're still letting it happen. So go fuck yourself, Biden. Like, I mean.
And that's the crazy part, right? Like, it was funny last night watching this. And then as soon as, like, in the first 12 minutes when he went, what we thought he was going to do.
Yeah, he went full potato.
Right? Yep. That's sad. It's sad.
That's true.
Yeah. But yes, when he went full potato, and we started texting each other like, okay, all the research that we had done for the last like week, like it's gonna be like 3 hours just on the debate tonight.
Yeah, it is. Today. Everything we were gonna do, all the plans we had.
Yeah, all the plans, like because we were gonna go into immigration hard on the whole. Like we have the stories and the interviews with Border Patrol guys that are admitting like these guys, we know this guy is trafficking people,
and they still
and we're
let them
required to do it.
They still let those kids go, knowing those kids. I pulled up that statistic, and it was like, well, we'll leave it in trafficking. I'm not going to give the statistic. We'll go into the trafficking, but
we'll do it because it's very important.
It is important, and kids are off limits. They should always be off limits.
Always,
and I think everyone can agree with that.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
and this son of a bitch
if you can't, you're part of the problem.
Yeah, that Border Patrol agent that we were talking about, he was in tears.
Yeah.
He was in friggin' tears.
Yeah.
He's letting these kids go with somebody, and he doesn't know if they're being sold into sexual slavery. He doesn't know if they're being used for jobs like, child labor. He doesn't know. You have no idea, but he knows that what's happening is not right. They've brought it up. They've blown the whistle. Nothing is happening.
Nothing. Well, it's like the Epstein list, right?
Yeah.
Nothing's happening.
Nothing's happening.
And now there's a lawsuit. Like I printed out a story. There's a lawsuit from somebody that said Epstein raped her and said that he was Mossad. He was bragging that he was Mossad.
Yep.
Now it's starting to all make sense.
Well, there's a lot of people
why wouldn't it be out? Why wouldn't it be out? A lot of people have
been saying it for a long time, and they wore the tinfoil hat when they were saying it. And what's the saying now? Like, what's the difference between the truth and a conspiracy? It's like 6 months.
6 months. Yeah. I think it's like 10 days now.
Yeah, it's just freaking ridiculous at this point. And I don't know, man. I just there's so much stuff with I almost said Biden.
We could do it.
Yeah.
You want to do it?
No. I don't like either of them.
Yeah.
There's just so much stuff that now that you can see, and it's so clear. And a lot of people are saying like it has to get bad enough for the American people to wake up.
Yeah.
And once it's that bad, they're just going to do a hard turn to the right, like what happened during Reagan, right?
Yeah.
Where he basically swept the nation. I don't know that we're there yet.
Well, I think you have to have something, right? Like you're going to have a raid and find a bunch of kids, like some big story, and you're going to have the media cover it. And they're not going to.
They didn't. And here's the thing. Under Trump, I don't know if anybody listening paid him as much attention under Trump, but there was raids. He was taking down child traffickers. Yeah. He was taking down sex dens. He was taking down left and right, human trafficking left and right. Never got credit for it. He shut down the back pages. Do you remember what the back pages were? Where you could basically throw stuff out there on the internet and people could find you for prostitution, even underage prostitution. He shut that down. I mean, he went hard. He even has a law saying that he wants to put child traffickers to fucking death.
Yeah.
That he wants to put in place.
Yeah.
That's the guy I want in this
100%
in the room. You know what I mean? I don't want Biden who's like, oh yeah, well, fuck it. I don't want these kids in cages. It's a bad optic. Go ahead and let this guy take them and go put them in cages somewhere else.
Yeah, this is crazy.
I don't know. And if you're a parent and you're sending your kids with some stranger, like, would you ever send your child or either of your children with some random stranger on a journey hundreds of miles to go cross a border through a desert, entrusting this guy who's part of a group that's cutting people up and throwing them in bins of freaking acid. Like, would you ever trust? What the fuck is wrong with you as a parent? You have to be so desperate.
That's what it is, right? For a lot of these people, they're that desperate.
Yeah, it's
heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. It's terrifying to think about what we are subjecting. Like, we know it. We know this guy is not related to all of these kids. Right? So whether or not he is just working for the coyote that's getting him in, or he's actually trafficking them, we don't know.
We don't know. But
that's the problem.
I pray. I mean, I pray to God that he is just taking them and bringing them to their family. He's not putting them some kind of sexual.
Right. Yes.
That's just, it's heartbreaking.
Yes.
I mean,
you talked about PTSD with the inner cities and the cops and everybody else. Everybody. Think about what these Border Patrol guys are going through.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like knowing this.
Yep. I mean,
and being required to do this stuff.
I imagine the burnout rate of these guys on the border.
It's got to be
sky high. Yeah. I mean, it's got to be high. How do you put up with it? How do you deal with it? You know, it's got to be. I mean, it's.
Excuse me. Sorry.
I don't know. It hurts a little bit. You know.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's horrifying.
Anybody with kids, you know damn well you would move heaven and earth to frickin' save your children, and even when they're not your kids, you would still jump in and help at any chance you have. And that's where I think the biggest thing for me is right now with Biden is, bro, you're not doing anything. You are the problem.
Yeah, you are the problem.
Yeah. I don't know,
man.
There's other stuff too from last night when they talked about war. They talked about Biden was saying Trump would start a World War III.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know if you know this, but the world's already on fire.
As soon as I said that, because I was planning on lighting up the whole stuff that's taking place with war. Remember, a couple days ago, I'm like, bro, the pieces are falling in place, and I'm starting to get worried. We got to talk about it. And then last night, I was like, as soon as he said that, I was like, fuck it, we're doing it live tomorrow. Because
we were gonna talk immigration. We're gonna talk the wars. We're gonna have a bunch. We're gonna try to put out a bunch today.
Yeah,
but
it's all gonna be wrapped into one, and then we'll have to go back and really stay on one topic.
We'll just do like a kind of a Monday morning quarterback of the debate here, and then kind of hit. We'll come back to it all individually,
dude. So. This Biden saying that Trump is going to cause World War III, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I've got that clip.
Yeah, good Lord, it just blew my mind. You got to look at the state of the world right now, and if people don't understand this, like, relationships are being established and set up on Putin's side right now, and he's forming his own allied group. It's almost like an axis of evil, if you will, like George W. Bush was saying, like. He'd label all these countries the axis of evil.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're setting up because they know it's coming, right?
Yeah.
And so I just want to point this out there. Is it wind or rain?
I think it's the computer fan.
Wind.
Yeah, wind.
So
artificial. We
just had South Korea actually, fire on North Korea.
Oh, it's definitely wind.
Is it?
Yeah. It's like getting windy out.
Yeah, storms, right? Yeah. So the South Korean border over the DMZ, the demilitarized zone, nobody's supposed to be in there. North Koreans wandered across the border, got into South Korea. South Korean soldiers fired warning shots at the North Koreans, and they fled back across the border.
Yeah.
The North Koreans have been building up their defenses in the DMZ, something they haven't done in decades. And they're building them up, and they're getting ready for some kind of conflict. You have China surrounding Taiwan, performing, daily drills, basically. They're sand tabling attacks and learning responses from the Taiwanese military or Taiwanese civilians of what Taiwan's going to do. I mean, China's just...
They're clearly testing everything
to figure it out, right? Yeah, They've got satellite coverage, drone coverage. They've got... they're flying over top of Taiwan. It's on the daily. You had Russia, Iran, and China take part in an annual naval exercise, but with a little bit more emphasis this year. This is just a month ago that they did this. You have Putin goes to North Korea and talks with Kim Jong-un. They form a mutual aid pact where if you're fired on by anybody, we'll come to your defense. If I'm fired on, you come to my defense. You have Putin move nuclear first attack capable vessels to Cuba, almost like in a Bay of the Pigs moment.
Yeah.
So now we have Russians in Cuba. We have them off the coast of Alaska. China just unveiled their newest fifth gen nuclear sub. So that thing is stealth, and it rivals anything we have. So now they could show up on the East Coast or the West Coast or whatever coast they want. We have the relationship that's been there for a while with Venezuela, with Putin. We have China now feeding Putin all sorts of frickin' supplies and materials and things like that because we've sanctioned them. So the sanctions aren't doing anything to Russia because China and us don't have sanctions, and China continues to give aid to Russia.
Yeah.
You have all these things being set up where you now are closer now than you have ever been. And on top of that, you've got Biden gave back a ton of money to Iran, which Trump was saying last night, right?
Yeah.
Iran wouldn't, the whole Israeli thing with Hamas, it wouldn't have happened under Trump because Trump bankrupted Iran and he killed Soleimani. But when you give all that money back to Iran, when you unfreeze their assets after Trump had frozen the assets, when you give them the money back that you've taken, billions of dollars, it's getting funneled to Hamas. It's getting funneled to Hezbollah. Now what's happening with Israel is on the north side, Hezbollah has continued to attack from Libya. You have two-front war just about to open up in Israel. And in 2006, Israel and Hezbollah got into a little scrape over some border guards that were killed, Israeli border guards that were killed. And Israel pushed into Libya and fought Hezbollah to a stalemate. Hezbollah is no joke. Now you're going to have all this stuff taking place. Now just think about this for a second. Let's just say Putin has already been saying that we're using American weapons, giving them to Ukraine, and they're carrying out attacks within Russian borders, right? That's what he's saying. Some of these attacks that are happening are coming from American weapons, American systems, and it's killing Russian civilians. He has now said he would not hesitate to use a nuclear weapon against the United States if the Russian homeland is attacked by NATO or by U.S. weapons.
Right.
He's in Cuba. He's in Cuba. Do you know why he's in Cuba? Because we don't have the technology to shoot something down that
it's too
close.
fast.
It's too fast. So he's in Cuba. He's already positioning himself. Okay, so we have that going on. It's not going to take much for something to happen like, I don't know, Iran carry out an attack as Israel and Hezbollah are in the middle of a fight while they're fighting Hamas. Iran maybe launches something at Israel, thus prompting a response by Israel to Iran. You have Russia in Syria. You have Russia in everywhere.
Yeah.
You have so many options now that with all this war that's all over the place, you have so many options now for American forces to be engaged for any one little thing to tip the scale.
Yeah.
That it's almost impossible to bring it back. Mm-hmm. For Trump to say that he would have the Ukrainian war ended before he even hits office, that is a bold claim.
Yeah.
A very bold claim.
Well, you know what he's going to do. They're not going to be NATO. That's what he's going to do.
Yeah.
And it's whatever. Like if that prevents a world war, fine. We'll defend them if we need to when that comes. But right now, this is why it's going. Russia doesn't want them in NATO. There was a handshake deal that we said, that NATO said, we would never go after those Eastern Bloc countries and put them in. We will not put NATO on your border.
Right.
Why are they at Cuba? Because we're in Ukraine.
Yep.
Because we're in Poland.
Right.
This is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
If we're not there, they're not in Cuba.
The shadiest things that have happened over the last, I mean, this is George H.W. Bush 1 that
right.
did the handshake deal.
Yeah.
And of course, now, 30 years later, whatever it is, everybody's like, oh, no, that didn't happen. No.
Right, yeah, because it wasn't.
And I'll tell you where it comes from. This, I don't believe this. I mean, it's not conspiracy. People are going to say it's conspiracy, but we know now from all the frickin' years of COVID crap that we went through with the World Economic Forum and what they want to do and Agenda 30 with the UN and the Global Sustainment Plan and the Green Energy Plan. All that shit wraps up into one big giant ball of mess, right? They want that fourth industrial revolution. It was that thing we looked up a while ago. Was it the line?
The line, yeah,
they want that.
That's crazy.
They want that. They want that worldwide. They're trying to figure out how to go into the next step of humanity, right? Well, you can't do that if you have the United States as a world power. You have Russia who says, no, we're going to keep our sovereignty, and I don't give a damn what you say. The hell with you.
Yeah.
You've got the Middle East doing the same thing, right? I mean, if you think about this in terms of if you had to come in and you wanted that fourth industrial revolution to take place worldwide, how would you do it? You'd have to get rid of the Middle East. You'd have to get rid of Russia, and you'd have to take down the freedom of Americans. Well, how the hell do you do that? Well, you're doing it now. You had Obama come in and destabilize the Middle East with Tunisia. You got rid of the Tunisian president. Muslim Brotherhood was created. You had Egypt was our ally. They were fighting terrorists with us. And you went in and you replaced the Mubarak, the Egyptian president. You got rid of him. Right after that, it was Libya. Right after that, it was you were going after Syria. And that's when Russia stepped in and said, okay, well, that's a step too far.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you created ISIS in the process. That was a John McCain, Paul Ryan, Lindsey Graham, John Boehner thing where they basically, in the hopes to get rid of Muammar Gaddafi, they ended up creating ISIS.
Right.
Accidentally.
Yeah.
Or maybe who knows, maybe on purpose.
Yeah,
accidentally.
at this point, it wouldn't be far-fetched.
And then you have Obama, who knows this is happening, say, oh, they're the JV team, and lets them gain a ton of power and a ton of clout and sweep across Iraq and sweep into parts of Turkey, sweep into parts of frickin' Syria, sweep all over the place, murdering people left and right. It's almost like they wanted to destabilize the Middle East enough, because if you get people scared enough, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
They're going to say, help.
Right.
And you get to come in and be the knight in shining armor, and then you're going to try to reset things. Mm-hmm. And it almost seems like that was their play or that was their plan. I know that sounds conspiracy theory-ish, but at this point, it's like, dude, how many of these things have to happen before people are like, yeah, maybe that is possible that could happen.
Right.
Because it's just a shit show at this point.
Yeah. I don't want to interrupt your rant.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't a rant. But if you don't know what the line is, go to YouTube and look up the line in it's UAE, right?
Yeah.
UAE or Saudi?
For which one?
The line?
The line is in Saudi Arabia.
Saudi. They are building a 7 mile long.
I don't even remember. I thought it was longer than that.
Yeah, I feel like it is longer than that. They're building a line basically of housing and everything. But you are only going to be able to be in one area of that line. You'll be 1 mile. Everything that you need will be in that 1 mile, and you aren't supposed to go outside of that line.
Yeah, it's like if you took 2 brick walls and spread them a mile apart, and then just went for miles and miles and miles, hundreds of miles or whatever with this brick wall.
How tall was it?
Remember? It was huge. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either. It's in the middle of the desert, right?
Yeah.
And it was like super tall.
Yep.
And it was everything you would need would be
you would work in that
right
mile.
there.
You would live because there'd be multiple levels. They had subways on
Why do you need a subway if it's only a mile?
I don't know. I
don't either. But anyways, check it out. It's crazy to think that they're going to try to force people to only be there'd be no cars.
Nope.
There'd be nothing.
All of their vegetation, their farmlands and stuff would be at the very top.
On the top
portion.
They grow all their own food.
Yep. Solar panels for walls on the outside.
On the outside for their energy.
I mean, it would remind me of like some kind of, I don't know if it was like a Sylvester Stallone or an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where they're living in the sewers. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what it'd be like.
It's kind of what it is, yeah.
You would not be allowed outside of it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You would live your entire life like a rat in a cage.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at, honestly, back in the day, this is probably 10 years ago, we were looking at Agenda 21. That was the UN Agenda for Global Sustainment. And there was things where they were talking about building these metropolises and packing as many people in, kind of like what China does, and leaving the outer areas undeveloped.
Yeah.
And Agenda 30 still has that in it because they weren't able to accomplish Agenda 21 in time, so they pushed it to Agenda 30. They're not going to be able to accomplish it in Agenda 30 either. I mean, it's going well down the line.
Yeah.
But that's their overall plan. They want to like take that next step as humanity. Well, that's a great thought to take that next step, but you're never going to get that next step unless you can get humanity to not be violent. So, I mean,
yeah, for sure.
It's just not going to happen, right? I mean, you've got like, I don't even know how many religions on this planet, but more than a dozen, right? And some of those religions are at war with each other and have been at war with each other for, centuries, right? So it's just not going to happen. I mean, it's a great thought. I mean, it's a sci-fi thought, but it's just not happening soon.
Well, and I don't know what that was.
A rocket just take off?
I hope not. Well, at least it's not landing.
Yeah, right.
I don't know where it was. Yep, that's gone.
That's all it took.
I was concerned we were going to die.
That's all it took. Yeah, you can't get to where they want to get. Even with this climate control and this, like green energy initiative, like, okay, let's kill every coal plant. Let's kill every gas plant. Let's only do wind and solar. Okay, well, what happens on a day like today here where it's cloudy? You're not making energy.
Right. There's no
it's
energy
windy.
today.
Okay, it's windy. So now
it's not windy enough.
Okay, you're making some power, but where's the rest of your power come from? You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, damn, I guess, I don't know. And we saw it in California. They wanted to shut down nuclear plants, and then Newsom was like, well, apparently people don't like not having air conditioning in the summer.
Especially when you outlaw gas cars, and then you don't have power. Hey, listen, you can't have a gas-powered car, so it's electric. And I hate to tell you this, but you can't charge it.
Yeah.
Because there's rolling brownouts.
Right.
So, hey, don't charge your car today.
Right. Or use your air conditioning.
Right.
And it goes back, that video that I showed you where that Canadian trucker was talking about.
Yes, video.
The reporter asked him, like, what do you think about, are you going to change these logging trucks to green or to battery? And he's like, well, you'd have to, but, if you did that, look at the dam that we have down the road.
That's a pretty good accent you got there.
Well, yeah, we're we're Southern Canadians,
you're like
bro.
Barely U.S. at this point with that thing.
We're Southern Canadians, all of us down here.
Dude, they're
I learned,
Northern Americans, okay?
The one thing I learned in my military time, I had so many people go, hey, say road. And I would say it, and they'd be like, road.
Road.
Hey, is it a creek or a crick? Like a roof or a roof? Like, bro, I've gotten it all the time.
No, I know. I live here too, but...
Oh, act like you don't have it.
No, I do. That's what I'm saying. I get it all the time too.
No. It's always when you go south.
It's everywhere, actually.
Mm-hmm. I wish I had that video of that guy, though.
You couldn't find it?
Well, I didn't.
We'll do it on another. We'll do it on when we do the green energy stuff.
We keep saying we're going to do it on another one, the green energy stuff, and then it's like I feel like
something explodes.
We're drinking from a fire hose right now,
dude. I don't think it's even a fire hose. It's like the ocean pouring on top.
I know, dude. Like I was telling one of our coworkers.
Yes.
I was like, bro, my brain is mush from how much studying I'm doing.
I know.
I was not a straight A student, and I'm finding story after story after story.
I can promise you,
and they all compete.
None of my teachers thought this would be what I was doing.
Yeah, I know.
Like looking up stuff on my own. On my own. They couldn't get me to do it for a grade.
And the thing that gets me I think one of the things I had said something like the billion rounds of ammunition that Obama had bought was more of the rounds than what had been fired in all the wars together or something like that. Yeah. I remember what the quote was. But I remember when I looked it up at the time, it was like you find these differing numbers. Yeah. And no one knows the exact number. So you take from this or take from that or take from this. I'm like, I don't know. Like next time, just say this is how much was made and who knows how much was fired.
You got fact checked hard.
I did get fact checked.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet getting that text.
And I was laughing. I was like, oh, well, there's not much I can do about it when you find it in 5 places that says one thing. And it's just like when we were looking at the Russian body count for invading Ukraine. You're never going to find the right answers.
Yeah, yeah. Regardless of how many rounds were fired in all of the wars combined, 1 billion rounds is far too many for the government to own.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're going to war.
Well, that wasn't for the military, though.
No, I mean,
that's a different... If the DOD had bought it, fine. But it was Department of Homeland Security bought 1 billion rounds. Really? Why?
Yeah, well, it was always just to curb the amount. I mean, he couldn't get gun control, so all he was doing was trying to make it hard for anybody to buy ammo. But I don't remember what calibers he bought it in. But
it wasn't 223s and 40.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. But
it was probably 5.56.
He definitely made it harder for a short period of time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of ammo for anybody to be. I mean, that's like every major ammo manufacturer. You're buying out their stock for years.
For sure.
But
everything they had.
Yeah, and that's a gun control initiative. They didn't even talk about gun control last night, which kind of shocked me. They didn't talk about violence. They didn't talk about crime. They didn't talk about a lot of things that...
No, but they did spend 10 minutes on abortion.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really understand why that went so long, and some of these other ones where it had to.
It's CNN, right? That's how you're trying to get.
Like, it wasn't even like Biden wasn't doing a good job explaining, obviously, right? But they kept going back. Like, I don't know what the thought was. I saw something online. Now, this is again conspiracy theory, but that this whole thing was a setup.
What do you mean?
That the DNC and CNN and who's got the second debate set it up. That's why this one was so early, was to get them out. Like, they knew it was a problem. And this one was to get them out before they realized it too late and they couldn't do anything. This whole thing was a setup. And that's why they asked them these questions and kept going. Like, they were pretty substantive.
Bro, see the part where I said my teachers
Yeah. D means done. Substantive questions. Like, he couldn't remember the whole questions. So it was like it almost fed it. And then as soon as it was over, they were talking about how they were talking the whole way through DNC people about replacing him.
Yeah,
it was way too fast.
I just don't think
and way too much. You absolutely have to at this point. You have to do it.
If you throw it
to the convention.
If you're the Democratic Party, you want to do it. If you're Biden,
you have to.
Doesn't matter. He already filed his ticket. He has to pull himself out. Biden right now is a criminal.
That's correct.
Hunter is under investigation with tax implications, with foreign aspects that link to his dad and to Obama. Obama is absolutely panicked right now. So yes, they could get Biden out of it, but I don't think that the Biden family is really willing to run the risk of.
It's not going to. We've done too many of these already and talked about all the shit that's being covered up.
Yeah.
All they have to do is let some of the shit about Biden go. And it's going to be, you have to get out. It's not, listen, you get out. They'll either blackmail him and say, you're getting out and we'll pardon you with Kamala or whoever. Because I think he steps down. I don't think he even finishes his term.
I could see that, but I don't know.
You get him, you have him actually do it through the FBI. They start going after him. They start leaking that there's indictments, that as soon as he's done, he's going to be indicted. And then whether or not that happens or not, that's how you get him out. Say, listen, we'll take care of you and your family. You'll be pardoned. You're going to go sit on your deck and watch the ocean until you die.
The problem is, there's numerous paths that could be taken.
Could be.
And he's the shadiest person I've ever seen.
Could be.
I just don't know what path will be taken.
Listen,
I have no confidence.
It wouldn't shock me if he died.
I said that before.
How bad did he look last night?
Yeah, I said that before.
Just walking off the stage.
I said that before.
Clinton's got a good suicide guy.
Yeah, and that's your easiest play, right?
Yep. No one would challenge that.
Nope. He died a heartbroken father because of this Hunter crap, and he was under so much stress, and Trump is a big meanie head.
Yeah. Meanie head. Yeah. Bringing it back.
Kicking it old school.
I understand.
How many times last night did he say, well, you're a whiner? Like,
yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Grow up.
Yeah.
How
about Trump saying, hey, we don't need to act like children?
Let's not act like children now. Over the golf scores.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Wait a second. You said that? When did you grow up, sir?
What? Sorry, can I ask you a question?
You just called some lady fat like a year ago on
Not
stage.
Long. No, it wasn't some lady. It was Rosie O'Donnell. I shouldn't have done that while you're drinking. Sorry.
Yeah, that was bad.
But that was his response. That was his response. It wasn't some lady. It was Rosie O'Donnell.
It was Rosie O'Donnell. Ugh. Yeah, I just.
But that guy's the one saying, "Hey, let's not act like children."
Yeah, let's not act like children up here. Holy,
bro, that threw me.
That did me too. I was like, did you just see that? Did he just really say that?
For sure.
That got me.
There was a few moments that got me. The one on the rant, the rambling. Should I play it?
Yeah,
let's play it.
And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we can do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
Look, we have the safest border in the history of our country.
the border. All he had to do was leave it. He decided to open up our border, open up our country to people that are from prisons, people that are from mental institutions, insane asylum, terrorists. We have the largest number of terrorists coming into our country right now, all terrorists, all over the world, not just in South America, all over the world. They come from the Middle East, everywhere. All over the world they're pouring in. And this guy just left it open. And he didn't need legislation, because I didn't have legislation. I said, close the border. We had the safest border in history. In that final couple of months of my presidency, we had, according to Border Patrol, who is great, and by the way, who endorsed me for president, but I won't say that. He endorsed me for president.
But you just did.
Hang on.
Brandon.
But brilliant.
Look, we had
Sorry, it was a long quit, but I wanted that in there. He called him Brandon.
Yeah, he did.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah, I loved every second of that. But he's not wrong. I mean, Biden came into office, and I think it was relatively quick, where he just dismantled all of the Trump era policies on border.
It was the first day. They always do that, right? Like the first, what do they say? There's an executive order that they signed first, and it has to do with their new, administration. The second one that they sign is undoing all of the previous executive orders that the previous president did. Everyone does it.
Yeah, I just
I'm not connected. I don't know that they do that. It was on the news. That's something they do. That's the first thing that they do is undo the executive orders.
And I mean, in this case, it was just out of spite.
100%. He talks about it in there. He says, I'm not sure if he didn't know what he was doing or if he did it because he doesn't like me, which is worse.
Right. And that's what it was. I mean, it was...
Yeah, 100%. It was because Trump did it.
Whoever's filling up that empty vessel that Biden is right now is obviously really far left, right? I mean, that's what we're seeing. They're as woke as you could be. I mean, I just saw another thing where his director of communications is another person who's like Sam Brinton. Remember that Sam Brinton, the bald dude who was walking a dude around in a leather dog mask, and they were both naked.
With the guy that stole all the luggage.
Stealing all the clothes, right?
Yeah.
Now you have another guy who's just like that, who's like, I mean, they could be brothers.
I don't think he steals luggage, though.
We don't know yet. Give him some freaking time. Give him some time.
Fair. That's fair. But he's not he's like a deputy to somebody in the communications. He got promoted to...
It's high up.
It's high up. Yeah, for sure. And then he went through and scrubbed his Twitter, and they're like, "Hey, bud, we already got it."
Yeah. He had said stuff about all sorts cops of stuff. Are bad, and they're like slave patrols. And
slave patrols.
All the crazy woke talk that you hear. I mean, and here's the problem, right? Why is Putin so emboldened? Because you have people in your military that are, absolutely psychotic right now at the highest levels. What's that? The trans woman or whatever, who's in the military. She's like an admiral.
I don't know her name. Her. Sorry,
her.
I couldn't remember if it was a girl going to a boy or a boy.
It is a boy going to a girl.
Got it. How do you say that? A trans girl?
Trans woman.
Trans woman?
Bro, I'm so far out of that loop. I don't know, but
I mean, again, I don't care what you do, but stop forcing it on me.
Right. Well, and the other problem is diplomacy.
In charge of health or something?
I have no idea. The problem is
talking. I'll look it up.
The problem is when you have these people at the upper echelons of your government, right? And you appear to be weak. People probably don't want to hear that in that side of the community, but that's the fucking truth. If you're going to have all these people, you're filling your entire cabinet, or you're filling these positions, even if it's not all, if it's just some, and they're just wokesters, and you're putting all these people in these prominent positions that are flashy, and they're out there, and they're doing all these things, and they're loud, and they're vocal about being woke, and they have it all over their Facebook bios, all over their Twitters, all over everything. If you're a guy like Vladimir Putin, who's ex-KGB, right?
Yeah.
Who probably has fought himself, been on a battlefield himself at some point in time. You know what I mean? You have this guy looking at all that Biden's admin is, and he's got to be just licking his chops. He's got to be going, these people are pathetic. Yes, they have nuclear weapons, but these people that he has with him are so powder puff, they're not going to use them. I mean, they're not going to use anything. He must feel like he is the wolf, walking around in like a sheep costume with all these people. I mean, why wouldn't you? Did you find it?
Yeah, Admiral Rachel Levine, 17th Assistant Secretary for Health and for the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Wouldn't that be? I mean, that's the perfect place to have.
That's the person in charge of, or the deputy or assistant. Was it assistant? When did they get assistant secretaries? But assistant secretary for health for the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Let me see the picture. I want to see if it's, because there's so many now. I don't even know if it's the person I'm talking about.
But yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the one.
That's her.
Yeah. Good looking lady there.
Yep. This is the same person that pushed. We should stop. Well, we're just going to get into a whole new thing.
Yeah.
We're going to get into trans talk, and
It's
that's
off
a
the
whole
rails
other
always,
episode.
bro. I mean, we're off the rails.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I want to go back to this debate because it was incredible how bad it was.
I don't know. I mean,
Like, everyone thought that he was going to come out drugged up like he did for the State of the Union. Maybe they didn't do those drugs. Maybe they tried a different one because he was so angry. I don't know.
I was talking with my wife about this because she works in that field.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, there's only so much you can do because your body can only take so much of anything, right?
Sure.
So I was like, well, what could be done? And she's like, I don't know. You could do like blood transfusions to get him more oxygenated blood. You could add medicine. You could, do all these things.
Yeah, because let's be honest here. They had 10 days where he's locked up in Camp David.
Yep.
They could have done anything.
But she said there comes a point, no matter what, when you've reached a certain stage of dementia, that there's not much you can do.
Yeah.
It's prevalent and it stays. And no matter the medication you pump, your brain's not doing what it usually does. And obviously he is there because damn well they would have pumped him with everything. Any trick that they could have tried with him, they did try.
For sure. I agree with that part of it. I don't know that he's completely there with dementia, though, because he still remembers a lot of shit, right?
But he's getting to the point now where it's irreversible. You can't fix it with medicine.
Yeah. It's more, to me, it seems more like Alzheimer's.
That's the same thing.
Well, I thought dementia was...
If you ask somebody in that field, like my wife says this all the time,
right, yeah.
Alzheimer's is dementia. They don't even really give like an Alzheimer's diagnosis anymore.
I thought they were like a little different on what you remembered and what you didn't. I thought Alzheimer's was like you remembered some stuff, but you didn't remember short-term stuff.
I don't know. According to my wife,
I thought dementia was like you just don't remember anything.
Well, Alzheimer's, you're going to be full dementia.
Scale,
it goes across.
It's
right?
like autism, right?
I don't know.
There's a whole spectrum. Like you could be high functioning, or you can be.
I couldn't tell you.
Okay, all right.
Everything I'm saying is just coming from her who's in the field.
We don't have any honorary doctorates between us, so
if we go speak at Harvard or in front of any group,
I don't think Harvard's ever.
They're not calling us.
Honestly, I don't think they even want us driving by.
Yeah, they'll organize to stop it. Was it Harvard where Ben Shapiro tried to go and speak and they threw him out?
One of.
Yeah, I mean,
it hasn't Ben Shapiro been thrown out everywhere almost.
Yeah. That's off topic, but I don't know. I do know that he wasn't sharp. I mean, if you
for sure,
whatever
I
they
100% agree with that.
Whatever they did didn't work.
I thought dementia was more of like I can't remember anything, and Alzheimer's was like I can't remember some stuff.
I can answer this. So, like, if you're put in a long-term care facility, and you are a dementia patient, there's varying degrees of dementia patients in there.
Sure.
So you just have to be a danger to yourself to be put into a locked place where, like, today you might not remember something and you walk out of your house and you don't know how to get back.
Yeah.
Now you're probably going to go into a locked care facility where it's 24-hour care and they're watching over you type thing.
Right.
But you also have people in that same locked care facility that are completely demented that will have conversations. Yeah, my wife has told me things of like she's seen people who think they're 12 and they're talking to their mom. Right. And this is a 90-year-old woman or a 90-year-old man. It is sad. Your brain just kind of does that to you. But dementia varies. Sure. I know, like, listening to some of the stories that I've heard where family members will want their loved one to stay in a certain side of a facility and they're not safe to be left alone. They need 24-hour care. And they're not safe because they can exit and leave wherever they want. They can go. Some of them still have driver's license. They can go drive. So those kind of conversations have to take place where it's like, okay, well, and I think that's where Biden's at that stage now where
he can't drive no more.
Yeah. Did you see him driving? We saw him ride a bike. He fell over on the damn bike.
He was trying to stop and he lost his balance.
I've never seen anybody.
Like a drunk guy.
Listen, he's like, what, 82?
I don't know.
Whatever he is. He's in his 80s.
He's in his 80s.
When he does good, Jill takes him for ice cream.
Yeah.
He's
but who doesn't like ice cream?
Yeah, the difference is when I do good, my wife's not like, okay, get in the car. Let's go get some ice cream. Like, that's not how it's going. Right?
Your wife doesn't do that?
Yours does?
Yeah. Your wife's so mean.
My wife sucks.
Easy.
Yeah. I don't know.
Just kidding, Ben's wife.
Yeah. No, don't come out here.
Stay inside.
I don't know. Like, he's not there, man. Everyone sees it. You know it. I mean, everybody sees it.
Yeah, of course.
There's no coming back.
No, there's no coming back.
No.
Like you were talking about, was it Van Jones was in tears? No, that was my brother called me. And he's like, dude, are you watching this? I was like, I lied to him. I'm like, no. I didn't watch the debate at all because he's from Seattle, right?
Oh,
like,
boy.
It's not gonna go
Two
well.
different
Like,
thoughts.
he is not like people from, I mean, he's from here. He's more middle, I would say. However, he has taken on the Seattle attitude sometimes. But he called me and he's like, are you watching this? I was like, no. After it was over, I was like, I didn't watch it. The girls were whatever. And he was talking about, like, Van Jones on, is he on CNN or MSNBC? It must have been CNN. Is he on CNN?
Yeah, Van Jones.
Yeah. He basically, they went to him and he's like started crying. Like, Joe Biden is a good man is all he could say. Like, they knew it was fucking over for him.
Well, that's debatable too. I mean, it's just like, I'm sure on the left, they're looking at Trump like he's not a good man.
Of course.
But Biden has quite the history of.
Well, I'm not saying that Biden's actually a good man.
No,
I was
I
just saying, like, they all think that it's so
It's over.
done
It's over.
that they were basically eulogizing him yesterday.
I just hate when they jump in, and especially a guy like Van Jones, like,
of course,
with the racial things that
Yes.
Biden's been a part of. For that guy to come in, I mean, again, it's like we talked about. We've coined it Operation Shield, right? Where they shield their candidate. The uniparty protects the candidate that's in power. It's just disgusting. I mean, you're kind of selling a part of yourself to say that, no, he's a good man. I get you're upset. What you're really saying is, well, there goes, boys. There goes. We're screwed. Now Trump's in. You know what I mean? That's really what you're saying. Because if you're honest about yourself, you're a black man like Van Jones is, and you're looking at who Biden is and what he's done throughout the course of his time. 1990s crime bill put more black and brown people in prison than any other legislation drafted prior to that. Eulogized Robert Byrd, the grand cyclops of a KKK, saying he was a great, individual, great man. He had, fought for Jim Crow laws and stuff like that. Well, now he claims he was part of the civil rights movement. I mean, he's done so many things that I don't know how anybody could ever look at Biden and be like, oh yeah, he's a really good man. The guy he's licked his finger and stuck it to the winds of the political winds and just decided where he was going to land on at whatever point in time in history. You know what I mean? He's never been the guy that's been a decent individual. He's always been full of crap, and he's always been blamed for whoever is going to benefit him.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we're seeing it now, right? I mean, now that we know the laptop's real, we know that the Chinese deals are real, we know that the Russian deals are real, we know that the Ukrainian deals are real. That's the real Biden. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. I don't think he's a good man.
No.
I'm just saying, like...
I know, I get what you're saying.
It felt like a eulogy.
It pisses me off that they do that. You know what I mean? It pisses me off that they're like, oh, he is a good man. No, he's never been a good man. It's just like Hillary Clinton. She's never been an awesome person. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
That bitch has always been evil.
Yep.
It goes where it goes now. I mean, and there was times last night when Biden was talking, that clip we just played. I mean, that was some freaking word salad like Kamala says.
Man.
It's like, they're perfect. They're the exact same. One is just not demented. The
Do
other
you think
one is.
if they talked at the same time that they could just mute one mic when they got to the word salad part and they'd have a coherent statement.
They probably had Kamala backstage. He's got an earbud in, and Kamala's the one that's talking.
Kamala's the one. That's who you picked.
That's what it sounded like.
And I love yellow school buses.
The truth is that he's not that demented. It was just Kamala speaking in his ear.
Yeah, he's like, wow.
Yeah, he's just like, damn, am I really gonna say this again? Son of a. I don't know. I just thought. I was kind of glad that they muted the mics.
I was too,
because it let everybody see. And I think Trump in the beginning was a little frustrated, but then he just let him
talk.
Did you see the smile he had on his face the whole time? He's just like, "Yep, keep going, Joe. Keep going."
Yes.
I don't know.
When he would sit there and talk about stuff and go on and lose his train of thought or like the lies,
Yeah. The stuff that's easily provable to be false. The stuff that Trump could come out and knock out right away. Like, again, the
1651.
Yeah, that was just unbelievable. And then the whole, I got into the race because of everything that was said down in Georgia, and it's like, oh, bro, come on. You got into this race because Trump was going after the laptop.
Yeah, and again, he said that his son died in Iraq.
Did he say that last night? I thought he said he served.
So he did. It was 2 different times. He said that he came back with stage 4 cancer.
Glioblastoma, I heard that, or whatever that was.
Yep. And then he said
because
later
of the
on,
burn
he
pits,
said that, yep. And he said that he, like, when I think he was talking about the World War, being in France and the World War II thing, when he went with the lie again about the suckers and losers.
Yeah, well, I cannot believe that it's still a thing. Like, and Trump, I thought, addressed that pretty well. Where he's like,
I got
"Are
that
you
clip
kidding
for Trump
me?"
That he talks about. This is a long clip, so we won't.
Do you hear the birds out there?
Yeah, the birds are going crazy.
Yeah.
This is too long of a clip to play. I haven't cut it down yet, but he talks about the suckers and losers. That it's a total lie, and that they have 19, and they had one. Maybe the fox is back and eating another one.
Have at it.
Yeah. Oh, you're done with them, huh?
No, I mean, I'm just not getting up. There's nothing I can do.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? The 51 and the 16, the 51 intelligence people is like, he's like, it's the same thing, right? Like,
here we go.
How you had the 51 intelligence people say this, and guess what? That's true. And you had the 16 people say whatever.
Well, this is what they do, right? They roll people out to try to. I mean, it's just voter suppression is all it is at this point, right? Like, oh, look, Trump is bad. He's going to collapse the economy. I mean, Trump's policies are so bad. Okay, well, if they were so bad the first time around, wouldn't he have not had the best economy? Like when Biden was saying it was the worst economy we've ever had, and I'm like, bro, I lived it. Gas was cheaper, food was cheaper, houses were cheaper. I'm pretty good. No, but now everything seems
got the best economy ever.
He's like, I inherited a 9% inflation. No, you didn't. The only thing I think that Trump really fell down on was when Biden was like, you spent $8 trillion more than any other president. Well, you need to fact check that because Obama spent a ton of money.
Sure. What he did say in 4 years.
Yeah.
Which is true.
It is true.
He spent more money in 4 years than any other president.
But
however,
he also had COVID.
Sure.
He also had, well, really it was just COVID, right? I mean,
it was just COVID.
And it would be nice to see how much, I guess, because I didn't pay attention, but I know that he did, and this is coming from the military side of me. Obama gutted the military. There was a percentage of tanks and aircraft that we had that weren't operable that we just left on tarmac because Obama cut budgets, right? I know some of the guys that I was around, we used to do jumps all the time, whether it was hey-ho, hey-low, or lay-low. We were doing jumps all the time. You had this big budget to freaking go and actually like jump out of airplanes. And they went from doing several jumps a year to, a couple times a year just to keep their qualification under the Obama administration. So there was a portion of that money that he came back in. And I can remember early on in the presidency of Trump, he was like, he approved a huge spending bill to restore the military. And that was a big deal because, I mean, we had at the time, I can't even remember, it was a percentage of Abrams tanks that weren't working, percentage of our armor, percentage of our planes, and like some other stuff that was completely like mothballed, just left, right? Obama wasn't fixing it.
Well, that was part of the sequestration, right?
Yeah.
Part of that deal.
And so that was, I want to say that was a huge spending bill that they passed through in Trump's early on in the first 2 years of Trump's term.
Yeah, to get everything back up.
And then after that, was it his second term? They lost either the House or the Senate. I think it was the House, right? They lost the House.
The second 2 years.
Yeah,
not term.
Second 2 years of his term. They lost the House, not the Senate. And I think from that point on, it was just kind of a stalemate everywhere you went.
Yeah, for sure. Well, his tax cuts did a lot of adding to the deficit right away, because it obviously is going to, right? So the long-term effects of that, that comes into, I had somebody in high school, a teacher in high school, tell me, a history teacher, that you cannot judge an administration on the economy in their term. It's in the next guy's term. It's because it takes so long for that to go through. Typically, but it bleeds in, and somebody mentioned it.
But that's
a couple
definitely
days ago.
That's talking taxes and that's talking stuff like that. But when
but that's what I'm talking about. So that tax cut adds to the deficit right away, and then it trickles down and it comes back.
So it doesn't add to the deficit. It stops paying debt down, right? So you're not adding to the debt. The debt's there. So basically, what's happening is if you cut the taxes, you're no longer paying that portion of the debt down, so everything else explodes.
Well, but they didn't cut any spending.
Correct.
So they cut down. So they did add to the debt based on the tax bill, because you're taking in less while you're still spending.
Right, but that's just them not balancing the budget, right?
Sure.
So that's what they're supposed to do, and they didn't. But they had to do these things to get things through. When you're looking at inflation right now, the single most crazy driving factor of inflation was Biden's war on fossil fuel, right? I mean, he came in, he killed pipelines, he killed the contracts for new drilling contracts, he stopped fracking, he basically made us energy dependent. And then when the gas prices skyrocketed, the next thing that Biden did was realized, oh crap, people are pissed off. They don't want to buy electric vehicles. We're losing this whole freaking battle. We're closing down coal plants, and now people are mad at us. What do we do? We got to get these gas prices down. It's $4, $4.25 in the north. It was like $6 on the East Coast. So he went to our strategic reserves. He tapped
It was almost 10.
Yeah.
The gas stations in California had to change all their signs because they didn't go to
double digits.
Yeah, they had to go to double digits.
And I believe that. And when he did that, he tapped the strategic reserves. And basically, I mean, that is the weakest. We are the weakest now we've ever been in this country in terms of national defense, because those strategic reserves aren't for you and I to have lower gas prices.
Correct.
That's for our military, right? We can't handle an invasion right now. And that's another thing that I failed to bring up. We'll talk about that in our military talk in the next one we do. But we can't handle an invasion right now because we don't have strategic reserves.
Yeah.
So in terms of like any military force worth their grain of salt, they're going to cut off supply lines, and they're going to make sure that people can't get you any kind of petroleum or any kind of thing. So any kind of fuel. So what they'll do is they'll take the seaports, they'll cut off the borders, and now you're screwed. You're dying from within. And he did that just so he can get our gas prices for, up here in the north from $4.25 down to $3, and I think I saw $3.19 yesterday.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, you're not even getting, and you're buying that down for a short period of time. But what happened was with this country, why inflation went crazy, is when you kill oil and you kill gas and you have this freaking massive anti-fossil fuel agenda because, oh my God, it's the end of the world, right? That's what they're doing. They're pushing that green initiative. They're pushing that new move. When you do that, well, any product you get out of a store, if it's plastic, it takes petroleum, right? That's how plastics are made. Getting the product. If farmers with their fields, they need fuel in their vehicles. Everything, when the price has gone up on everything,
every level uses fuel.
It trickles down, right? Well, eventually, people aren't spending the money that they need to because they have to harbor that money. They have to save that money. Food's costing more. Commodities are costing more. Everything is costing more. Travel's costing more. So at all stages of the game, when you kill that gas, or when you're trying to kill fossil fuels and you jump that gas price up, and I can't remember who his director of energy is. It's that lady who was on Capitol Hill saying, well, yes, there's going to be an effect where we're trying to get people to switch to something better, right? And we'll agree. I'm sure we'll agree. Batteries is the future, right? We know that eventually we'll get there. We're not there yet. We're not.
Batteries aren't there yet.
We should have went hybrid first, and then after we figured all this stuff out, we could have moved on to complete battery. Yeah. But whatever. But it had this trickle down effect, and it's raised the prices in everything. Mm-hmm. Everything.
Yeah.
So now you're seeing the cost of living for the average individual has gone up. That had nothing to do with Trump. That has everything to do with Biden's war on fossil fuels.
Yeah.
The beginning of that came down, and the inflation didn't start until 14 months into Biden's first term.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when I look at Trump, I'm like, okay, Trump did spend a bunch of money. He spent a bunch of money on COVID, a bunch of money on the military. He spent a bunch of money on the border wall. He spent a bunch of money on immigration. He spent a bunch of money on his legal reform of the criminal justice system. He spent a bunch of money to start fixing things. There were some things that Trump spent money on. I can't remember what they were that I wasn't a fan of. It just didn't seem legit. But everywhere that Trump was spending money, he was trying to zero it out by restructuring NAFTA, by NATO paying more money, by, all these deals. He's trying to make money back because that's what he's a businessman, right? We haven't had many businessmen in the Oval Office that were actually doing what they were doing. So yes, he did spend more money. And this is another thing that I wish Trump would have went down the pipeline of saying, yeah, I did. I spent that money. However, I made all this money back and damn near zeroed out what I had with these deals and this deal. I mean, he had China buying, I can't remember, it was like billions of dollars of corn from farmers on a deal. I mean, he did that, and I'm sure Biden killed that. The trade deals that Biden has killed. I mean, I'm surprised that with the wrecking ball that Biden took to all the Trump policies, that some of these deals are still in place.
Yeah.
Which they are. I mean,
well, some of them, if they went through Congress, he can't get rid of them himself.
True.
Right. Yeah. So like the treaties, like that's why we could get out of the climate thing, because that's how Trump could get out of it.
His first 2 years.
Because Obama was never going to get that passed because towards the end, he didn't have the House. They were never going to approve it. So they just entered it without actually doing an official treaty through Congress. So, some of the stuff you can and can't do.
Right. I mean, there was some shit last night that Biden was saying. He stopped Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. Did you hear that part?
Who? Biden said that?
Biden said that he was in his vice presidency. They stopped Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, and he was big into that or something like that.
But what did he do as president?
Well,
because as vice president, that was a while ago.
Well, listen, didn't Obama send pallets full of cash to Iran as part of the deal?
Yes.
And didn't they leave a path forward for nuclear technology as long as it was being checked on by an Arab nation that was checking them and saying, okay, everything's good. Like, nothing corrupt can happen here, right? Because, I mean, and then that's why Trump came in and killed the whole
that's why,
Iranian nuclear deal.
Right. And then Biden came in and slashed the Trump, what's it called?
He restored portions of the deal, is what he did.
Yeah, but the restrictions,
the sanctions, and
the sanctions,
and the frozen assets he gave him back.
He gave back the frozen assets.
Yeah, I mean, in totality, you have to look at it's. There couldn't be more contrast between Trump and Biden, right?
Yeah.
Now, regardless of what's happening with Trump, with his being indicted for, I mean, let me see if I have this right. He was indicted for what he was convicted of, which was the Stormy Daniels crap, right?
Yes.
Campaign finance.
Yep.
He's indicted for and convicted of the E.G. King thing, E.G. Carroll, right? The lady who said that she raped him.
He wasn't indicted. That was civil.
Oh, he lost a civil lawsuit.
That was all civil, and then she sued him again because he apparently is not allowed to say he's innocent. It's a weird thing because he was never convicted in a criminal court. So she went after him for defamation a second time, and that's when she got the $83 million.
And she's the one who was saying that rape was sexy.
Yeah,
right.
Well, a long time ago. Yeah, it's not sexy anymore.
Yeah, of course not.
Because she's going after Trump.
Because she's going after Trump. I mean, so we have those.
That's an appeal.
We have those. We have the classified materials. That one's taking place now, right?
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on with that one. There's a lot of hearings that are being called just delay, and it feels like they are just delay tactics.
Well, it is, so you can get through.
Yeah.
The amount of the BS that's going through, like, I know we've heard the term lawfare. We've heard Trump say that you're just targeting your political opponent.
Yeah,
I'm sure
said it last night.
There's some of that going on, right? I mean,
Hillary Clinton got away. You get the number 3 person from
the DOJ
put
on the case,
basically under secretary of
right.
of the
put on the
DOJ.
case to help convict Trump with frickin' Bragg. He goes and takes a pay cut beyond belief to go work with Bragg.
Work as Bragg's attorney.
I don't know. He must have filled out an application, right?
Correct.
It just seems like and Trump's got his own issues that he's facing, but it just seems like all of Trump's issues were never issues for any other Democrat.
No.
Hillary Clinton never had these.
No.
Right? I mean, she did the Steele dossier and paid a fine of like $100 and something thousand.
They did go after Edwards for his campaign stuff. With
that was a while ago, yeah.
They did go after him.
But he was
Edwards,
Republican.
No, Edwards was a Democrat. John Edwards? Democrat.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a vice president candidate at one point.
For
and
who?
then, was it during Bush? Who were the...
I don't know. Because Hillary had
Maybe.
Kane.
Oh, yeah, Hillary Kane. Yeah, maybe he was just a presidential candidate. And he wasn't a VP candidate.
I don't know.
I know he was a presidential candidate, but his affair that involved a love child...
I remember.
And they paid them off, and they actually brought charges against him, but it was found not guilty.
Was it for campaign finance?
Yeah, I think so. It was something on how they paid it, I believe.
We'll have to look that up.
We'll look it up and talk about it another time.
Yeah. AKA
Famous
never.
last words. We mean to. We're drinking from the ocean.
Well, it's happening so fast.
Yeah.
I mean, there'll be stories today.
Yeah.
That
At some point,
we're
it'll
gonna
slow
wish.
down, right?
Yeah, right.
And then we'll talk about all this stuff.
And then
10 years ago, we talked about this.
Right. I mean, there's full intentions, full disclosure. We do have the intention to go back and do a wrap-up show and talk about stuff and
Yeah, dude. I've got
figure stuff out. But
binders of stuff that we've had to put on hold.
it just happens so fast. I mean, like I was telling, I don't like saying names.
I don't either. Yeah, just
Because I just don't know if they want their name out there. You know what I mean?
no. Don't put his name out there.
One of our buddies, who's an intelligent kid, I was talking to him. I'm like, bro, there's so much right now. Like, I don't even know. Like, my head's spinning as I'm looking. He's like, yeah, bro. Like, it's coming fast, and he's not wrong. It is so fast.
Yeah.
The news cycle changes so quick that we're just trying to keep up. You know, and it's hard.
It is hard. It's hard to stay on top of it, especially like this isn't a job, right? Like
Yeah, this is
just kind of our
hobby,
kind of
venting.
Yeah, it's more of like a stress relief.
Yeah.
Kind of, right? Just something that we can do that makes us feel better about it. We don't have the time. Like we can't record every day.
No.
We work 12-hour shifts. We do 4 weeks of days, 4 weeks of nights.
Yep.
And it is what it is.
And
like,
the staffing absolutely sucks.
Yeah, dude. Like, man,
So,
they gotta stop offering us so much money to come in because I am dog ass tired from switching days, nights to get this extra.
Yeah.
It's like double time all the time.
I've gotten that call multiple times, and I've been like, sorry, man, I can't. I got softball.
Dude, they called me yesterday, and they're like, all right, well, stand by for Saturday night. I was like, Jesus Christ, they already know what's going to happen.
Yeah, they know. They're screwed.
Yeah, like, hey, can you look at your schedule with the girls for Saturday night shift, please?
Nobody wants to work.
No.
And that's another problem.
We can't hire.
That's another problem we're having, right? I mean, and it's not just us. I mean, it's all over the place.
We should just hire illegal immigrants.
Except for that whole background check thing that they have to pass.
What are you talking about? They're vetted.
Yeah, well, yeah. If they were caught and they're the gotaways, they've been vetted, right? Just like that ISIS
just
fighter
like
was.
the 11 people that.
Yeah.
What? How many was it? 7?
I don't know. I just knew there was
the
one
number
ISIS.
of ISIS people that they've captured in the U.S. No, it was more than. It was like 7.
Oh, I have no idea. I just know that they caught people from ISIS, and they're from either Tunisia or somewhere.
They were the same place that the people attacked
Russia. Yeah. The Moscow attack, which is terrifying. I mean, if you think about this, and we're going to get off the rails here too, but a previous coworker of ours and I used to have conversations about, like, if you were to try to cripple the United States, how would you do it? Like, you could immediately put the entire country on lockdown just by putting out IEDs and carrying out kind of ISIS-style attacks like they did, where they just rolled up on Iraqis and lit them up in their cars and just drive off.
Oh, could you even imagine?
Bro, I mean, you would once a school bus gets hit with an IED, once somebody on their way to work gets hit with an IED, I mean, that was the most terrifying thing. Ask any soldier out there anybody who deployed, anybody with your Marine, Air Force, Navy, Army, driving around and not knowing when it's going to come and doing your best to try to find it before it comes. That is the most terrifying thing in the world. My wife used to get mad about this. I'd be rolling over a manhole cover, and I would veer off the side to not go over top of it because they would pack that shit with explosives.
Fuck.
I see trash on the side of the road. I remember driving home. My parents picked me up at the airport, and they're like, "Oh, you can drive." And there was a car parked on the side of the road, and I was on R&R. I like veered into the other lane, like, "Oh," and I was like flinching, waiting for this thing to blow up. My parents like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I was like, "Sorry, my bad. Force of habit. I think you guys should drive."
Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't drive.
I mean, it's been a long time since I've been boots on the ground. I still get nervous driving past stuff like that. A bag of garbage on the side of the road. I'm like, oh, shit. It's like, is today the day? And it would lock this country down instantly.
Yeah.
It would be terrifying.
The fear
would be the unknown. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be horrendous.
I mean, all it takes is one time where you get hit with an IED or be around somebody who's gotten hit with an IED and you're like, fuck this.
Oh, you mean that's not fun?
I'll walk. Yeah. You know?
I don't know that that's helped you.
Yeah.
It says 8 were arrested.
8
with that had come across the southern border. However, looking up that 1 day ago, DHS identifies 400 migrants brought to the U.S. by an ISIS-affiliated.
I saw that. I had that in my
human smuggling network.
And Mayorkas tried to play it down.
Good news.
Mayorkas tried to play it down. He said, "Well, that's not accurate." And then I don't know who it was. Somebody from the House was like, "Yeah, it's actually worse than that. I've been briefed," and that's all he said.
Yeah. Well, that's like the whole they're not coming from prisons and whatever. No, they literally have intelligence that said that they emptied out the prisons. Like, no, that's not anywhere. There's video of Border Patrol guys that are talking about it that don't know they're being videoed.
Do you remember?
Like, yeah, no, that came from an intelligence report.
Do you remember when we saw the video of all those guys in camouflage with the same backpacks and all that stuff coming across the border?
Yes. They're lined up.
They were dressed, man. They were military-age men. They all had camouflage pants, the same camouflage uniform on. They had the same assault pack. They had water with them. I mean, they didn't have weapons, but they were. Right. They had military.
Don't need them, we got them.
Right. They had military gear, and they were coming across the border. And we looked at it, and I was like, "What the hell is this? Like, who? That costs money." Like,
yeah, a lot of money.
Who's putting all these people in uniform and sending them across the border?
Yeah.
And I can remember.
Don't worry, it's the coyotes.
Yeah.
That's just so that they can make it safe.
Do you remember when those caravans were moving north? And that was under Trump, I believe, right? The caravans started.
Caravans started. Yeah, they were under. I know they were under Trump. I just can't remember if they started under Obama. Were there a few? I feel like there were a couple under Obama.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it bled over. But I can remember seeing videos of people handing out money to these people.
Yeah.
And getting them to like.
Well, the Red Cross hands them maps.
Yeah. And tells them how to get in.
To take so you don't die.
It's just like I don't know. Trump said it last night that they're using this mass migration to replace voters. Right? They want them to vote.
Did he say that last night?
Yeah, he did. Absolutely.
Well, I've got articles on it. DC had one.
Yep.
I can't remember the other places. I've got 3 articles from 3 different areas that have tried to get migrants to vote locally.
Yeah, and it was really quick. He said it, but yeah, he absolutely said that you're bringing them here so they can vote Democrat. Basically, is what he said. And he hit the point that they're taking black jobs. They're taking, all these low-income jobs. And that's true. And I remember that hotel we found a while back where they put in the Ritzy Hotel. I can't remember what that was.
He talked about that. I saw that.
He brought it up.
He talked about that with the veterans. Like, you've got veterans living on the street and you're putting migrants in a ritzy hotel.
Yeah, and we talked about it on a podcast
we did.
a long time ago.
Probably one of the first ones.
One of the first ones where he's got them in this hotel. Like, and they kicked out veterans to put them in these places. And what was that? That was that Massachusetts or Pennsylvania? I think it was Pennsylvania, where they were kicking veterans out to bring immigrants in.
Yeah.
And they weren't going to give veterans preferences. And that's just disgusting, right? I mean, these people have come here illegally, and your veterans have gone and done that, been there, done that for your country, so you could keep the way of life that you have.
Yeah.
And your thanks to them is, okay, well, yeah, but I can't look at you as you're a priority over all these people because we're all human.
Yeah.
All right, come over here so I can slap the shit out of you because, my human ass got blown up for you. So that's how I feel about it,
Yeah.
And he did kind of talk a little bit about how that was taking place. I thought that was good, but there was so much more he could have elaborated on. And
I think part of the problem was there just wasn't time.
There wasn't time. And, I mean, he would have been able to like I said, I like the fact that they shut off their mics because it just kept you on topic.
Yeah.
But I do miss the whole, because you'd be in jail.
Yeah, those comments.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's where Trump is he's just vicious.
Yeah, he'll cut you.
Yep, and you don't have that because he could have just absolutely taken over.
Well, there were several times. I mean, he still did, right? Like, I don't know what he just said, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't know what he just said.
Yeah, that was pretty harsh.
That was. I think that's probably where the panic set in because that hit home. Like, holy fuck, you're right. He doesn't know what he just said.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
we've talked about it and we've recognized it, and it still was like an oh fuck moment. Like, who is running the country?
Well, you're not. That's the problem. I mean, like I said, China doesn't surround
Somebody
Taiwan.
is.
Russia doesn't go to Cuba. Russia doesn't link up with North Korea and strike a mutual aid pact.
Yeah.
Iran doesn't get money to fund Hezbollah and Hamas. Israel doesn't get sideburnered by the Biden administration because, like he said, Biden said, well, I didn't give him 2,000-pound bombs or whatever it was, 5,000-pound bombs because that kills a lot more people.
They're really hard to use in neighborhoods or something.
So,
urban areas or something.
Yeah. And then on top of it, Russia's with Venezuela, and Venezuela is sending gang members and people, all sorts of people up here. Look, Trump's not lying when he said they're getting rid of their dregs of society, right?
Yeah.
They're sending them here.
Right. And
you're starting to see the ramifications. So Trump talked about the little girl, the 12-year-old who was raped, right?
Yep.
2 guys raped her, bound her up, raped her repeatedly, strangled her, and threw her in a friggin' river. I saw, he must have been from New York. He was on X, and he had these girls' pictures, and he was talking about this girl's picture, about this little baby, and then he had the 2 guys, and he basically went on a tangent and said that they should use a rusty pair of scissors, cut off their bag, stuff it down their throat, and then put them in a pool, a dirty pool that's been unkept with a bunch of piranhas, not a bunch, just 5, and let them eat to the bone. And he went on and on and on. And there's a big portion of the country now that's starting to wake up and see this crap. This has been taking place for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't the first time.
Well, for us locally, there was a girl in Iowa that she was killed by an immigrant.
Yeah.
And that was probably Obama.
Yep.
Now, how long ago that was?
How long that was? I mean, the same thing was that there was a girl on a bridge with her boyfriend, or walking under a bridge with her boyfriend, and somebody shot her in the neck. Yeah. That was I think New York or somewhere out east, and that was years ago. I think that was either right away in Trump's presidency or Obama's. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's happening constantly.
Well, it's just the level of it is just increasing. Like it's every day now.
Well, yeah, when you have people who don't care about you, like, of course, we talked about morality being removed. A lot of these people are cartel. A lot of these people are gang members. A lot of these people are not your top-notch individuals. A lot of these people are just...
Yeah, let me just... Where do you think they'd rather be in prison?
Right.
Venezuela?
Right.
Or here?
Right. Here where it's civilized. And
I don't think they care.
No, I don't think they do either. And I just...
They won. They got here.
Yep.
And now they're going to commit some crime.
Well,
and they're going to go in prison, and it's going to be like living in a mansion in Venezuela.
And depending on the crime, you're probably not even going to go to jail.
Well, I mean...
look at the kids that assaulted those cops and then laughed about it to a reporter in New York, right? There's New York.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they didn't even go to jail. Finger. And then Texas
picked them up.
Hey,
we got this for you.
Yeah, don't worry about that. We'll get rid of them.
Yeah.
I mean, when your legal system is so broken as ours is, obviously, now, the woke politics have come into play. What you have happen is a pandemonium. I mean, Chicago has erupted into a war zone, right? You have illegals here that think that, hey, we can do whatever we want. No one's going to hold us accountable for anything. Yeah. And they are. They are doing whatever they want. They're being put up in frickin' luxury hotels while the other portion of your society is pushed off. And you're starting to see it. And I guess that brings me back to like some of the things I wished would have been in the debate. Homelessness.
Yeah.
That was not addressed. Infrastructure. Not addressed.
Yeah.
The deficit. How are you going to pay the deficit down?
Well, they talked about that.
It was like a second. Abortion was like 10 minutes, and the deficit was a fraction of a second. I mean, like a fraction of a segment. It was like
it was. I believe it was. They each got a response, and then they each got one rebuttal.
Yep.
But abortion went for like 5 rebuttals.
DEI in the military, like the structure of what's taking place in the military, the lowest recruitment numbers on record ever right now. We can't put kids in the military.
Yeah.
They're raising rates. They're raising salaries at all levels of the military for, I think, E1 to E4, just to get people to want to be in the military more. It's not working, right?
Yeah.
So then they go and they did that legislation was a couple weeks ago where they're like, okay, well, these are the people we're putting back on the table for a draft should we ever need it, 18 to 34.
Yeah.
And they just redid that again. That hasn't been done since Vietnam.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wish that would have been talked about. I mean, you don't have a country if you don't have borders. You don't have borders if you don't have a military. And if you don't have a military, you're in some serious shit. You have to have somebody protecting you. You're beholden. I mean, we had to, after we beat Japan, we stayed in Japan after we defeated them in World War II. We stayed there just to make sure they didn't get taken over by China.
Still in Japan.
We're still in Japan. And, they talked about NATO, and I think Biden said it multiple times. Article 10, an attack against one is an attack against all. I mean, he went off and...
Is Article 10?
What's that?
Is it Article 10?
I think it was Article 10 is what he's talking about. I don't know if that's exactly it, but...
one of the articles. Yeah, an attack on one NATO country is an attack on all of them,
and
essentially. He
said repeatedly, he said that moniker, and I just look at it like, you didn't talk anything about our own military, what you're going to do to make sure that we can handle China, that we can handle Russia, we can handle... Was it Article 5?
Article 5.
Times 2. It's 10.
Let's go.
Close enough.
Double it.
He didn't talk about any of that. Like, our military is waning right now. I mean, we're really struggling, and that wasn't even a thought of the debate. You know what I mean? It was all kind of... You could kind of tell that these questions in the debate were more geared towards, hey, Biden, here's a softball, and then you could possibly use it to go after Trump. And had Biden been, more mentally with it, I think it would have been geared. And I said that, I texted you right away.
Yeah.
Like, I was impressed that CNN's not, like, going after Trump directly, but the questions were designed.
They clearly geared their questions so that Biden could,
yes,
and they didn't have to.
Correct.
But then he was so incapacitated.
He couldn't do anything.
And
I think that was the biggest shock for the Democrats. Was like, well,
that's why the panic set in.
Right.
Everybody's on DEFCON 1 except for your buddy, Fetterman, said, "Chill the fuck out today." To a reporter, he's like, "Yeah, everybody needs to chill the fuck out." I had a really bad debate once too.
Right.
Yeah. Look how he turned out. Maybe it was just the cold that they started talking about.
Yeah, that's not it.
That's
not
not it.
No. Nah, I mean, this cold is the one that eats your brain and turns you to mush.
It was somebody from Fox said, if that's a cold, I've never had a cold before in my life.
Yeah. I mean, Fetterman's not wrong, right? I mean, I honestly thought Fetterman was a joke when Fetterman got put in because of his injury.
Surprised me.
He surprised me too.
He surprised me. I could see myself being a Fetterman fan.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pulling.
There's a lot of stuff that we don't agree on. However,
I'm pulling for him.
There clearly is a lot more that we do that I didn't think we did.
Well, there's a lot more.
He's not as progressive as he was as a lieutenant governor.
There's a lot more to him than I thought was there.
And maybe that's because the governor was progressive, and so he was just playing that role. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
I don't know
clearly he can do whatever he wants now.
Or he really has bought into the whole I'm a working class guy.
Maybe.
That's cool too.
Whatever got you there,
right.
I appreciate that you being more in the middle than on
honest,
the left.
And honest about shit. I mean, that's the big thing. Like, if we could just get 10% of our politicians to be honest, that would be nice.
Yeah. Like, hey, it's okay to disagree and have different ideas. Everyone wants to get to the same goal, right?
Well, yeah.
For the most part. How we get there. And yes.
You should.
Yeah.
I don't believe that's true anymore.
Really?
I mean, yeah, 100%. I don't believe that AOC and the squad give two shits about making this country better. I think they want the sound bites, and I think they want to look good, and I think they want to rah-rah for their group of people.
Okay, fair. Real people.
Yeah. Well, the way it used to be.
People that actually want to.
Sure. In the 80s and 90s, we had that. We had both sides of the aisle were like, well, at the end of the day, we're doing this to make this country better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And we have to work at some point together. Now it's just like polar opposites.
Yeah,
it's just
correct.
like, look at how bad you are. Look at how bad you are. You've got AOC saying shit. You got Marjorie Taylor Greene saying shit.
Correct.
Like, girl, baby, girl, don't even
please
play.
stop. Can we just please don't
that's
ever
burned,
use that quote again.
That's
don't
burned,
use it again.
That is burned into my mind.
Dude,
forever.
I cannot. Like, I instantly want to just go jump off a cliff.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
That's people in the house, right? I mean,
no, dude, I know. That's why I want to go.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. These people aren't doing these things to make anything better, right? Who was it? We were just talking about somebody just invested a bunch of money and came out $6 million ahead. Was it Pelosi? We were just talking about this the other day at work.
I don't know. No, it wasn't Pelosi. It was somebody else he bought $6 million worth of. It was a guy, and I believe it was a Republican.
And it just keeps going.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they're not in it now they're in it for they're in it for power, right? To keep their power. And they're in it to, for self-benefit. They're making money. They've turned being a political figure, which is supposed to be a civil service, right? They've turned it into a career. Being a politician wasn't supposed to be a career. You know what I mean? It wasn't supposed to be like, oh, this is how I'm going to, hit my million. This is how I'm going to become a multimillionaire, as being a politician. No, you were never supposed to be one of the elite. You were supposed to be one of the people, representing the people, not representing yourself, your self-interest, and the company that's paying you's interest. So I don't agree. I don't think people care now about the country. I don't think that there's a portion of them that are looking at this country and going, yeah, we could be great again. They're complete opposite. They're like, well, I mean, we have this trade deal that we're trying to, this is what I have to do. I'm beholden to this, this, and this. I just don't see it anymore. You wouldn't do the things you do to gut this country and send jobs overseas and just destroy this country with inflation if you cared about this country. You know what I mean? You wouldn't kill all of gas, your oil contracts, and then come out and say, well, they're just not asking for oil contracts. Bullshit. Like, you wouldn't do those things. You wouldn't take those actions if you cared. I mean, you wouldn't do that, right? America first would be your agenda. Trump's agenda would be what you would do. And I guess that's why a lot of us are moving towards Trump now, is because I'm sick of not being put first, right? I'm sick of not. Do I care about Venezuela? I don't give a fuck about Venezuela. Do I care about Russia? Nope. Do I care about Ukraine? No, I don't even give a shit about Ukraine. I don't care. It's not my country. Do I think it's wrong what Russia's doing? Yeah, absolutely it's wrong. Should we help them out? Sure, where we can, as long as everybody's being even in the whole ordeal. Do I think we need to spend all these billions of dollars to make sure Ukraine is brought back? No, I don't. I don't think we need to spend all these billions of dollars. Other things can be done that haven't been done. But I just don't think politicians are... Like I said, if we could get 10%, to be honest, we'd be in a much better place. I think we're closer to like 3 or 2%.
Yeah.
I see you digging. What are you digging for?
The rep that was just $12.5 million worth of trades. It was Michael McCall.
Good Lord.
And they said that what's notable about this is he sits as chairman on some of the most powerful House committees, including the Foreign Affairs, Homeland Security, Congressional High Tech Caucus, Congressional Cybersecurity Caucus, the Congressional AI Caucus. And he went and bought stocks from people in all of those committees.
That's disgusting.
It's crazy. Like, there's a whole thread on on Pelosi's stock tracker. It's a whole thread and they're a month behind, right? Because they're not public yet.
Because it's not filed
So that
yet.
was a month ago he did that.
It is fucking ridiculous, man.
Yeah, $12.5 million in trades.
I mean,
on shit that is directly, and they break
Directly
it down
related to
by
him.
the committee and the company that he bought.
directly related to him.
Correct. A bunch of AI companies, AI Caucus. A bunch of cybersecurity companies.
Yeah. I mean, these people are obviously getting contracts at some point or doing some kind of work.
Correct.
That he's in the loop on.
They know that they're going to get this no bid contract.
Yep. And that's the shit right there that's killing our country.
Yeah,
you
100%.
You don't care about us. You care about you. right? You're already getting paid more than I'm getting paid to be in Washington. You're getting drove around. You're getting some kind of security detail. You're living wherever you're living in Washington, D.C. And I remember hearing AOC say things like, well, I'm not making enough money. It's so expensive here. She voted for a pay increase for herself while talking about the elite and the rich, need to be taxed more. I mean, they're making a ton of money over there, right? You're being treated like a freaking celebrity. And remember, she wore that dress. It was like a $10,000 dress to one of the galas that said tax the rich or whatever.
It was borrowed.
Right. And it's like, shut your mouth. Like, shut the fuck up. You are the complete problem we have in this country is the AOCs, the frickin' insider trading, the lobbyists, the people that go to work for lobbyists. I mean, the Obamas of the world, right? He doesn't have money. I mean, I can't remember the statistics. Somebody's got to look this up. But was he like a senator in Chicago for 4 years, 8 years or something like that? And he had voted on 2 issues, voted twice or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then he becomes the president of the United States. He has doesn't have a ton of money, leaves the office, gets a book deal, goes onto Netflix with some sort of deal. He's like a producer of something that movie that came out a little bit ago about the collapse of society or an attack or whatever that took place. My wife and I watched it, and it was just a garbage movie, but the premise behind it was pretty scary. But he was like an advisor to that, an executive producer or whatever, him and Michelle. I mean, they have all this money now that's just been given to them from what? What did you do? Well, I was the president of the United States. Yeah, so was a lot of other people that never came out and were beholden to anybody that all of a sudden scored these contracts. And they all frickin' do it. It's not like they're the first. I mean, you look at these guys that were in the Republican Party, they're all on Fox News. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You look at all these people that are Democrats, even Scarborough, they come out and they're like, oh, look at this contract I can take and be a contributor here and do this and do that. And it's like, oh, sweet, you've greased your wheels to get you into another place using our government system as a place to go through and do it. And it's completely destroyed our country. We are where we are because of this.
Yeah, I was trying to look up AOC's net worth to see where she was at. When she started in Congress, it was minus $9,000.
Yeah, I remember that. She's well above that now.
Well, yeah, I was looking at...
Holy cow.
What's that all about?
Your phone?
Apparently my phone can't be next to the laptop, next to the microphone.
It's Brandon. He is really pissed off that we're talking.
He doesn't know.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. It's whoever's
it's
telling
Jill.
Brandon. Yeah, it's Jill.
Jill's real upset.
Jill is really upset and they're listening. Like I said, when we were talking about the clip, what was it? Was the clip? I was like, oh yeah, I remember this. The Charlottesville clip, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, the clip where I looked it up.
And I was like, bro, it's going to be gone by tomorrow. I just don't trust Google at all.
Yeah.
And you looked it up and sent it to me within 10 seconds. You're like, got it.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fast.
Yeah.
But that's funny. It's
yeah.
funny because that's the thoughts that go through your head. It's like, oh, the censorship is coming back. Yeah. And the Supreme Court just ruled that the government can petition people to censor you. Did you see that?
Well, I meant to dig into that a little bit because I don't think it was... We'll have to talk about that another time.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it was completely that they can. It was more that there was not standing or something, right?
Pretty much. I mean,
it was like you couldn't... I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I meant to read into the case, but from what I believe, what I remember is that it was like basically just kicking the can down the road. Like they didn't rule. They didn't rule for or against.
It very well could be.
It was more or less just like not now.
I meant to send you that last night and say that we should put this on the radar.
Well, it's on the radar, like all of them are. And at some point today, maybe they're gonna rule on the immunity, right? The presidential immunity.
Do you think it'll happen today?
I don't know. Well, they added Wednesday. Well, normally it's Wednesdays, and they normally are done by the end of June. So that's today.
Yep.
Right? Because the end of June is Sunday. And they went on Monday. They added. So normally it's just Wednesdays that are opinion days, and they added Thursday and Friday, and they have like 6 cases left. So I don't know. I haven't heard anything about today though.
Everybody's been saying that we're going to get it, but I don't know that we are. I don't know. I think they're going to wait on that one.
Do you?
Maybe not. I mean, I don't know. It's so hard to know because, I mean, they've been so sporadic with their opinions coming out. Uh-oh.
Making cupcakes.
Delicious.
They're so cute. How are they mine?
Maybe they're not. No, you grew them.
Yeah, we grew them in a petri dish.
I like that.
You liked it?
When you said that, everybody's like, what?
Yeah, no, we grew our kids.
I watched them hatch.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a weird thing. Like,
I didn't know.
Yeah, we got pictures. Yeah. I can show you.
I know.
I'll bring you a picture.
I had no idea until you had said that. And I was like, what?
Yeah, everybody looks at me like I'm fucking on crack.
I looked at you.
I'm not
like,
Hunter.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are cute for sure.
I don't even remember Supreme Court stuff. I was going to look up to see if we have any at all today.
I don't know. I don't know how that...
Look up Turley. He's usually
what the ruling was on that, with the censorship stuff. I just know that everybody who's been posting about it has been like, oh, great, death to free speech, death to this, death to that.
There's a great deal of discussion about the 25th Amendment now.
Oh, yeah. Wow. We'll talk about the 25th Amendment. Case. Did you just see something about the 25th Amendment?
Jonathan Turley posted something on... so 3 hours ago.
You remember they were going to use the 25th Amendment against Trump.
Yeah, they tried. There's a great deal of discussion about the 25th Amendment after the chilling moments in last night's debate with President Biden. As I've previously written, the amendment was written primarily with physical disabilities in mind. It is far more difficult with mental decline. Interesting.
Now, I could see the Democrats doing that.
The 25th Amendment effectively requires a vice president and cabinet to defy a president. Last night's debate confirms that the White House has been shielding evidence of the president's decline from the public. While there are provisions for congressional action, the 25th Amendment makes removal effectively a non-entity if the cabinet is running interference for a president who lacks capacity. Moreover, Democrat members have been attacking Special Counsel Herb for suggesting that... Show more.
Yes, they'd have to really...
that Biden has diminished mental capabilities. So he's basically saying that because everybody's run cover,
they can't
really do it now.
Yeah. Which makes sense,
well, I guess I don't understand that part of it. Why? Because it makes them look bad? Like, that's not really right? Like, let's talk about the moral police. Well, right? It's not really part of the law.
I think it's political suicide.
Sure, but how many people in those cabinet are you going to have? Rachel Levine running for president?
Right.
No. Are you going to have Buttigieg is out? He's basically done. He's fucked up everything he's tried to do.
He's an idiot.
All those guys. Like, think of all the cabinet secretaries. Like, here, going back to my brother from Seattle. Who's Biden's chief of staff?
Yeah.
Nobody knows. No one knows. He's like, I live in Seattle. It's the most liberal place in the world, and no one knows who the chief of staff is. Why?
Well,
why?
The answer to that is pretty simple, actually.
Everyone's in hiding.
Well, no. I mean, yes, they're in hiding. That's part of it, but also...
They're not out doing anything on their own.
Well, if you were to walk in to any military base and you go to any... company headquarters, battalion headquarters, division headquarters, you have the chain of command on the wall from the president, his entire cabinet, all the way down to your commander, right?
Sure.
When our parents were in school, they could name all their Supreme Court justices. They knew who their congressmen were. They knew who their senators were. They knew the president and his cabinet, all the positions. They knew that. They knew those things. We stopped doing that. We stopped teaching that. People aren't educated like they were.
Yeah, but everybody knew who Trumps were.
Who?
They were out there.
Who was it, though?
It was, Reince was the first one, and then it was the representative, I'm blanking on his name right now, Meadows.
Mark. Yep. Well, yeah, and it goes back to you take the lack of education into it. Sure, they were out there.
They were out there talking to the press and doing stuff. You don't ever see that from anyone in Biden's camp.
Well, you do. They're just on Capitol Hill when they're doing it.
No, well, that's not the That's not the administration. That's just the DNC.
What?
What are you talking about?
Mayorkas.
But that's the cabinet.
Blinken. I know.
Yeah, but I don't know.
You're seeing him. You're just not.
I don't think
in a good light.
He's like, look him up. You've never seen that guy before.
Yeah.
He even told me his name. I can't remember it.
There definitely is this.
That was last night. It was like 6 hours ago.
It's probably honestly
12 hours ago
because he's white and heterosexual and you know what I mean?
No,
we're seeing all these people that are being brought in that are trans and that are the Sam Brintons, you know, like the whatever this new guy's name is, who's another version of Sam Brinton. Like you see these people, they're putting them out there. They're like, oh, look at our DEI, you know, Corinne Jean-Pierre, look at this. Oh, look at over here. Look at how woke we are. Look at this, look at that. And I'm sure the people that aren't like that, maybe, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I just know that there's two parts to that. Society is stop being educated to know the answer to this. And the other part is they aren't putting people up on a pedestal that don't meet their agenda. You know what I mean?
Jeff Zients. Zintz?
Z-I-N-T-Z.
Z-I-E-N-T-S.
Oof. Who's this guy? Let me see.
That's the first one. Ron Clan.
I know who Klein. Yeah, Ron Klein. I know who Klein is.
There's Zietz, maybe? Zenitz?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows who this guy is. I never seen that guy before. We all saw Mick Mulvaney. We all saw Reince. We all saw Mark Meadows.
Mm-hmm. Don't know.
It's just one of those things. Like, nobody in that, it's just super secretive.
I don't
understand.
Well, I mean, look, everybody in his cabinet seems to be like the best pick to be the worst fuck up there is.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's nobody. So, like, talking about the career suicide, none of those people are going to be picked again.
No. I mean,
so they could still do it. I just don't understand. I don't understand the whole, well, we've lied about it for so long, now we can't. Like, no. If there's enough pressure, they'll have them do it. Like, it's career suicide not to. If it's going to help the Democrats out, like if Biden refuses, right, to drop out of the race.
I just disagree, and the reason why I disagree is simple because we talked about earlier the World Economic Forum, the Uniparty. We've talked about all this other stuff. Even if Trump gets elected, and they allow Trump to get elected, they keep Biden in this thing, and Trump just crushes Biden. The only thing they're going to do is in battle. They're going to go into this battle with Trump like they did the last time. They're going to try to impeach him the very first chance they get. They're going to drag out every attack they can. The media is going to hate him. They're going to run cover. They're going to do all this stuff.
Here it comes, right? Here comes the new Russian dossier. It's going to be a Chinese one now.
Yeah, I mean, you know what's coming. They're going to do the same thing, right? They're going to severely handicap Trump every chance they get, and they're going to hope they get it back in 4 years, and they're going to put another candidate in there that they can control.
Yeah.
It's not a conspiracy anymore when all these people, you played that clip with the media companies all doing that same thing. We never played that Build Back Better clip, right? Why is it during COVID when Biden's in office, you had Trudeau, you had Macron, you had Biden, you had all these people all across the world, Merkel, everywhere. We're going to build back better, build back better, build back better. Well, why? Because they're all fucking doing the World Economic Forum talking points. You don't have world leaders on the same stage in their own countries touting this plan to people that's the same exact plan as a carbon copy.
All the same.
It's all the same.
All the same talking points.
No matter what, Biden's not. I mean, you're not controlling this country. You're beholden to these people that are uber rich, is what's taking place, right?
Yeah.
They talk about taxing the rich. You're not going to tax the rich. The rich are controlling you, right?
Right.
And that's why I don't think it matters, right? I think even if Trump gets in, the playbook is already there that they're going to use. They're going to do everything they can to get rid of Trump. The only thing Trump can do is take a fucking wrecking ball to it all. Declass everything.
We've talked about it. I hope that he does. Everything that's not military tech.
Go after everybody who's been part of treason. Get rid of the lobbyists. Get rid of all the shit. Like, you have to structurally reform Washington. Is Trump going to do it? I don't know. I honestly don't.
Snowden and Assange pardons and get them here.
Assange is home.
Well, yeah, thank God he's home finally, right? Like,
how many years has he been in jail?
Well,
8, 10?
They gave him a 5-year sentence, so he already had the time served.
Yeah. But I mean, how long has he been behind bars? They're on the run.
Well,
it's been
technically behind bars has only been 5.
5?
5 and something. Whatever the deal was for, that's how long he's been
Didn't it happen during the Hillary campaign that he got scooped up? Or was it after that? Was it Trump?
No, it was Hillary. Wasn't he part of Hillary's emails?
Yeah, he had the Hillary emails.
But I think it was started before that because he lived in like the Ecuadorian embassy.
Snowden was before that Obama wanted real bad. Obama wanted Snowden.
I think Assange was before Snowden.
I don't know. We'd have to look that up, man, because I'll
look it up now.
I used to know the ins and outs of both those guys and everything they had done and all the Hillary email stuff. I used to know all that stuff, but it's like everything, all this other stuff is happening that's replacing it. The Trump agenda, the anti-Trump agenda came in, and then I just lost track of all the crap that Hillary did. I don't know where Assange or Snowden fit into all of it. Snowden was definitely
Obama. He founded
Obama.
WikiLeaks in 2006.
Yep. But I'm talking when did they go after him? Because WikiLeaks in the beginning wasn't specifically targeted against Hillary and the establishment. WikiLeaks was diming out everything all over the place.
So he came into international attention in 2010 after WikiLeaks published a series of leaks from Chelsea Manning.
That's right. Okay. Yes. That
was footage of a U.S. airstrike in Baghdad, military logs from Afghanistan and Iraq wars, and U.S. diplomatic cables.
I remember the airstrike was the Apache, right? It was the Apache that shot the dudes with the cameras.
I don't remember.
Yeah, there was a bunch of dudes who were reporters, and it looked like they had weapons, and the Apaches engaged this entire crowd because there was 2 or 3 that had cameras, and they were civilians, and they killed them. The footage was pretty sweet.
Yeah. So in 2010 is when Sweden issued the European arrest warrant for him for the sexual assault. He took refuge in an embassy in Ecuador, embassy of Ecuador in London in 2012.
Yep, and didn't leave.
Didn't leave until Sweden dropped the case in 2019. 2019.
2019. I was like, 19 what, bud?
The year 19. He was found guilty of breaching the United. When did they? So he was arrested in 2019. On April 11th, the police were invited into the Ecuadorian embassy from the Ecuadorian authorities to arrest him.
Yeah.
And he was found guilty then of breaching the United Kingdom Bail Act.
Isn't it funny?
Sentenced him to 50 weeks in prison. So that's essentially, he's been in prison for the UK one.
Yeah.
And the US basically gave him a concurrent sentence and said,
I'm surprised.
He went to, where did he go? It was like a $50,000 flight to go. He did not come to the U.S. mainland. It was some territory of the U.S. that he could plead guilty in, so that he did not come here.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah, I wouldn't come here either.
They were gunning for him. He would have been Epstein for sure.
For sure. I'm surprised his plane made it.
But now that he's out, I wonder what WikiLeaks is going to turn into now, because does he go back or does he just lay low?
I don't know.
I think he's going to lay low.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you just enough time that...
Let it lapse a little bit and just come back hard.
Yeah, and then go somewhere else. Then you got to get off the grid. Then you got to go somewhere else. Iceland or somewhere where all the hackers are. There's a ton in Iceland.
I think that...
according to the Jason Bourne
WikiLeaks movies. Is kind of like, I don't want to say irrelevant.
Yeah.
But I mean, with X and with all the stuff that's out there on social media
you don't
now,
need them anymore.
It almost, you don't need it. It comes out so fast now. As soon as something comes out, they blow it up. And like we said, what's the difference between a conspiracy and the truth? Like from 4 months, 6 months, whatever the saying is.
Yeah.
I think that WikiLeaks started this whole everybody digging and looking, right? Snowden and
for sure with Snowden and
Manning
and the NSA.
Yep. And
that was Snowden's, right?
Yeah, that was Snowden.
NSA recording
that was
everything.
Clapper. Clapper was like, "Oh, we didn't do that. We're never doing that. We have not looked at any Americans' data." And then Snowden's like, "Bullshit." And then Clapper, got destroyed by Obama. And
here you go. I found it in this database.
Yeah.
He backdoored into that thing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, I mean, there's some people out there with some skills that are terrifying, isn't there?
For sure. Like, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's let him go to Russia.
Right. Well, I mean, Snowden he took off.
Well, for sure.
I thought at one point he was in China, 100%. Like, I remember him being in Beijing, and he was in China. He flew from Russia to China, which is a bold move.
Yeah.
But
well, unless it's on a military flight for one of them.
He bounced around. Well, even if you're flying civilian, they can't intercept you and be like, hey, we need this guy off the plane. They'll just keep flying. What are you going to do, shoot down a plane from Russia to China?
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to do
Come on,
that.
you don't think we've done it before?
No.
Really?
I don't think we've done it.
Oh, you're less of a conspiracy theorist than I thought.
No. I mean, sure, planes have disappeared, but I don't think it's us shooting planes down. I think it's Boeing not putting doors on correctly. I mean, at this point, bro, like,
yeah,
it's less of a conspiracy than what people think.
Yeah. Fair, but what if they just made him get on a Boeing plane?
Okay. You could possibly. I mean, it's anybody's guess.
That plane's grounded. Really? In Airbus?
It's anybody's guess of what's happening when you get in a Boeing plane. I'm not flying in a Boeing plane.
Dude, have you seen the stories that people are booking their flights based on the aircraft?
Yeah. Well, why wouldn't you at this point?
Yeah, for sure. But I didn't think it was like, because you know how people are. Like, they just book a flight and then they think about it later. Like, fuck, it's a Boeing.
Right. Yeah.
Like, no, they're searching for the aircraft and
I would
then
too.
booking the flight. Yeah.
I would too.
Well, I was going to. Now it's going to be harder.
It is going to be harder, yeah.
Now the Boeing flights are going to be the cheap ones. You want to fly Spirit? It's all Boeing planes.
My 13-year-old was asking, like, when can we go on a vacation, like, where we're going to go to, like, Hawaii or, like, and I looked at her, I was like, never.
Yeah.
And she's like, why? I'm like, because they won't let me take parachutes on a plane.
Yeah.
That is why. If I could sit
this is my carry-on. Right. Sir, is that a parachute?
Yes. If I could sit next to the door and have a chute on, we'll maybe talk at the back of the aircraft.
Book it on an Airbus. You'll be fine.
Yeah, fuck that. Like,
French plane.
Yeah. I've had too much happen on airplanes that I don't, never again. Never again. I'll drive.
You could book a cargo plane.
I'm fine with...
You didn't mind C-130s, did you?
I'm fine going to the Grand Canyon, bro. I don't need to go to another country. We have plenty of shit here that I can go look at.
Yeah, that's true.
I am well past, like, wanting to get into any other aircraft ever again to be like, hey, I trust my life with this guy up there that's a DEI hire that they've got 14 hours of experience. But, hey, you know what?
When are they going to start putting the captains on the websites so that you know what captain you've got?
Right? You can choose the plane and the captain.
Mix and match. I would like an Airbus with this guy.
You forget
41 years flying experience? Yes, please.
That's what your vacation.
I want the guy that's about to retire. Like, this is his last flight before retirement.
Your travel agent's picking the pilot for you, and like you're assembling your crew. You have to,
all the way down to the flight attendants.
You pay extra just to make sure you're going to land.
That one guy that made that funny video? That guy.
No. Yeah. Fuck that. It's funny too because my dad was the same way. Like after he got back from Nam, he's like, "I'll never fly in another aircraft again." And I never understood it. Yeah, never understood it until I got home and I was like, "Bro, I made it through that shit. I am not going down on a plane. Forget this."
Yeah. Yeah. Now you're just gonna die in a traffic accident.
I'll take it. At least I have control over it. Yeah, absolutely.
You got blow up in a fucking vehicle,
bro. Listen. You put a gun in my hand or put me in a vehicle, I at least feel like I have some semblance of control over what's taking place, right? I get that accidents happen and like it's just a freak thing that can happen at any point in time. I'll take it. When I'm in a plane 35,000 feet in the air,
is that Richard?
That's the hens. Richard's trying to get some. Oh. You can hear him going after him. He's chasing him. But in a plane 35,000 feet in the air, when shit goes wrong, what power do you have to fix anything? Nothing. Yeah. It's over, right? No, I'll take it.
Yeah, but bro, when was the last time a plane crashed?
Like 4 months ago?
Yeah, no, not like a real plane crash where everyone died.
Like 4 months ago?
Was it?
Yeah, let's Google this. I bet it wasn't that long ago. It was a Boeing plane, I think.
Okay, but how many flights are there a day? That's not a fair question.
I don't give a shit how many bullets are out there. I don't care.
Well, how many car accidents? How many fatal car accidents are there a day?
Sure.
How
many have happened to me?
Percent. Well, none yet, but how many plane crashes happened to you? Plane crashes. Not helicopters, planes.
I've been in more planes that were about to crash than cars that have.
I've been in planes about to crash too, but you know what happened? They just landed.
No, I had to jump. I didn't get to just land. I had to jump.
You had to jump out of an airplane because it was going to crash?
I had to jump out of an airplane because the engines on a C-130 stopped, and we were lifting off. And they were like, okay, here's your warning sign. Bring. Everybody gets up. We get hooked up, and we static line jumped out of the plane because they were afraid to keep us on the bird.
Well, that's
the most terrifying thing I've ever had.
You were going to jump out of that plane anyways.
That is true. I was. It's just way
I don't
earlier.
Understand why that's a thing.
Until you've been on a plane where they're like, hey, we're going to crash and you got to get the fuck out of the airplane, you will never want to get back on another plane.
Did you get out?
Yeah.
Then did the plane crash?
No.
So really someone just freaked out for no reason.
I hate you.
Yeah, I know.
I hate you.
But you also love me. I see that those dimples are out.
I hate you.
And it's it.
I hate you.
Well, I'm not wrong. The plane didn't crash. It wasn't about to. Someone just overreacted. It was an overreaction. Don't be like that, Ben.
It was not an overreaction.
Dude.
Those pilots hate you right now.
I'm judging
They hate you.
Yeah.
You don't even know. Those pilots hate you.
They don't know me. They don't know that they hate me yet. Nobody listens to this.
No, you're right. They're not.
There's 20 people.
There's probably less than 20 people. Like 12 of those
22
are us.
follow us. Well, one's one guy that doesn't listen. He just follows. Thanks, bud.
Nice guy.
No, why would I listen to it? I work with you.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
Fair.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
You douche.
Don't worry, he's not
I
listening.
already hear all these conversations anyways. So do we. We hear all your fucking conversations. We still have to listen to your shit.
Yeah.
February 9th of 24.
How many people died?
Well, that's a small aircraft, so that doesn't count.
Oh, so now it doesn't count.
I mean,
all right, fine.
2 died. It was a small aircraft.
Okay,
It was
all right, fine.
maybe I should put when's the last big plane crash?
Yeah, I usually just put Boeing in. But it's not fair because like a lot of them have just crashed on the runway and everybody's fine.
I don't know that
they haven't really crashed on the runway. The door flew off and they landed. It was just scary for a minute. It's not a big deal.
May 18th, 2018.
18.
Boeing 737 passenger. June 15th, 2023.
23. Okay, better. How many people?
112.
Okay.
I don't know if this is right or not.
Where was that at?
On January 15th, Yeti Airlines operated ATR-72 aircraft crashed while landing at the Pokhara International Airport in Kathmandu. 172
what was
people.
the date?
January 15th.
Since January 15th.
Of 23. Carrying 172 people on board, with 168 passengers, including 153 Nepalis.
Okay, well, let me tell you how many traffic accidents have happened in the world, because that wasn't in the U.S. Since 2023.
Yeah.
40,000 people died, okay, or 123 in an aircraft.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I don't give
All I'm saying is you're wrong.
I don't have... No, I'm right. I don't have control over that aircraft. I have nothing I can do.
You don't have control over final destination shit either. What if a log comes off a truck and goes right through your car?
I would move out of the way. It's going to hit the person behind me. The person behind me is really fucked. These reflexes are stout. I am not getting taken out final destination by a log. If I'm 35,000 feet in the air in Kathmandu and I fucking come down in a mountain.
You know what sucks is if it happens, I can't tell you I told you so. I will at the funeral. Yeah. I'll be like, bitch, I fucking called that.
If this happens, I'm going to haunt you for the rest of your fucking life.
And every day I see you, I'm going to be like, haha, remember? Remember on the podcast that one day I told you? And you said, no, I got reflexes.
I am straight exorcist your ass if this happens.
Prove it.
Well, we'll have to see how that works. I don't know what that's going to be like, but I am spiteful enough that will take place.
I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Sorry.
Well, that's okay. Personal attacks are cool, dick. This devolves quickly.
Like I said, it always does.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah.
Rails off. Goodbye.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I suppose, huh?
Yeah, we could probably kill this one.
Yeah, this one's been done to death.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like we missed a lot of it. Like talking yesterday or last night, like I feel like there's a lot more that we wanted to talk about, but it's just honestly, it's just not worth it. It's the same stuff, right? Same stuff we've talked about. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what to even say about it. It seemed worse than I thought, and I thought it was bad last night. You know, it was just shocking.
Well, we've seen it for months now with him on stage.
Yeah,
bundling.
no, those were cheap fakes, according to KCP.
Yeah, deep fakes, wasn't it?
KJP.
Didn't they say deep fakes?
No, the
Corinne Jean-Pierre.
It's KJP, right? KJ.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I thought she said deep fakes.
I thought she said cheap fakes.
No, because deep fakes is what they're talking about. And a deep fake is different than a...
I'm pretty sure she said cheap. You want to bet a pizza on it?
No, I've learned. Unless I'm right, then yes, I want to bet a pizza on it. I'm pretty sure she said deep fakes because she got taken to task about deep fakes not even being close to being anything grounded in reality. It's a video that's completely manufactured.
Oh, you're right. Deep fakes. They changed it. That said cheap fakes. Attacking a new category of cheap fakes videos. KJP blasted the media for publishing unaltered videos of the president's. So it's cheap because they didn't alter them.
Right.
I mean, then they're not fake.
She originally said deep fakes, and everybody was like,
so
it's
she
not
said
a deep
both,
fake.
So.
And then she changed it to cheap fakes
yeah.
to cover down, to save
Right.
herself, because she sounded like a fucking moron, because she's
again
a fucking moron.
Again.
Their whole, it's everybody from top to bottom.
Tied? Yeah, she said both.
Yeah, you're like somebody else I know that will never take a loss, who's always like, no. Well, she said both, so technically I'm right. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
I was going to say your wife.
Yeah,
no,
fuck you, buddy. That one stung and I can see it. And so does everybody that we work with.
I want to say his name.
Yeah, you won't. You won't.
No, I won't.
There's no names here.
There's no names.
It's very...
But he doesn't listen either, so fuck him.
But I'll tell you something right there. That one felt good.
I bet it did. You know what? It felt good for me, too.
Yeah, I bet it did. You look like you've aged a couple of years just in that reaction.
Yeah.
Sorry, bud.
That's all right. He's mean to me.
We're back.
Sorry. Mechanic called. Wife's car's sick.
I hate that.
It's not really sick. It just needed a small part.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah, it was only like $10,000. But it was just a small one.
So it was only like a quarter of the cost of the car.
Yeah, more than that. We don't buy expensive cars.
You know, we've completely got off rails, and we were talking about this thing that was a debate last night. They didn't talk about like cars or anything. Prices have gone like.
Well, they talked about inflation.
Yeah.
They talked about inflation. They talked about. I think Trump maybe said that groceries are 30 or 40% higher. Maybe that was a different video. I don't know.
That was he did say that. I remember that.
I don't know that he used the actual percents, though. Did he? I think he just talked about how everything is so much more expensive.
I'm pretty sure he did say 30% higher.
Okay.
Or maybe he said twice as much or something.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I was running to the bedrooms because they'd come out and I had a bad dream. You liar. You haven't closed your eyes yet.
Don't you love that age?
Yes. Yeah.
Where they say some of the funniest
so
crap.
Precious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on to that because that goes away and then they become evil.
I can't wait for that part.
Yeah.
No, that's actually like I really am looking forward to that part because I just plan on turning them on their mom.
Yeah, I know that's the truth.
All three of us.
I know that's the truth. Hearing some of the stories about some of the stuff you've gotten your kids to say to your wife for the random calls where she's like, "Did you tell him to say this?"
Yeah.
I believe that's absolutely true.
That might be my fault.
Yeah, that one's me.
Yeah.
I love that getting onto the highway. That story where it was what they said to somebody driving slow or something like that.
Oh, get the F out of the way. Yeah.
Yeah. That's you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that was Brenda.
That was her?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yeah, the stuff in the car. Well, that was at the grocery store when they were driving the race car cart.
Yeah.
And they said, "Get out of the way," to the lady in front of us.
Oh my God.
And she looked at me and then I go, "Sorry, that's how mom drives." She just started laughing.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. They say some of the funniest stuff at that age.
Yeah, man. They're pretty fun.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, children are off limits.
Yeah.
That makes me so mad. Like, I'm still going back to that. That makes me so mad.
Start stockpiling my hardware.
Off limits, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. What do you want to do?
I think we should call this one.
Yeah, I
it's
think
been
it's
like 3 hours.
Well, there's a lot to talk about.
I know.
That debate was a train wreck.
Yeah.
Overall grade, A to Trump.
I don't know if he really got an A. Honestly, like if you're grading on a curve because Biden did so bad, it was an A.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If you're just grading him, maybe a C. Because he really didn't get into much stuff.
I wasn't impressed because it was all attacks. He filibustered some of the things. Like I said, I would have liked to hear more about the fentanyl stuff. I would have liked to hear more.
Yeah.
But again, the questions weren't
Well, they
anything
were
that
geared
strong.
to attack him.
Yeah.
Like we talked about. Like they were geared to
They were softballs.
put him on defense.
Yeah.
And so he had to ignore a bunch of it so that he didn't seem like that.
Yeah.
And he just let Biden hang himself, and he did.
He did a great job in that regard and letting Biden just talk and screw everything up. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I don't know if I'd go as far as a C. I mean, a B maybe. The Brandon comment, and he doesn't even know what he said.
Take those out, right? Like just on his debate performance. Yes, he got a couple really good zingers and on Biden, but other than that, like there wasn't a lot of substance.
No. Well, and I guess for
that's
me,
CNN's fault.
Well, Trump too. He could have on the fentanyl issue.
Yeah, but they didn't give him time. They didn't give him time. They didn't give him the questions, right?
He was always trying to.
He had to go back to.
Yeah.
He had to go back to defend himself.
Yeah.
And say everything that he's saying is bullshit.
Yeah, most of the stuff.
Go My Cousin Vinny on it. Everything that guy just said is bullshit. And just be done.
I love that movie.
You have 89 seconds left. Everything he said is bullshit.
Again, I mean, I also give Trump a little bit of a pass because of what it was like under Trump in his first term.
Well, I think that's the difference, right? Like these two have both been president.
Yeah.
Right? So like
you know what you're getting from one and you know what you're getting from the other.
Well, there's a real threat to democracy here, really? Because he's not president now.
Right.
So we know
Yeah.
My brother said that last night. I was like, dude, what are you talking about? Is he still president? No. I said, so there was a transition of power? Well, I said, just stop. Please stop.
I don't know. Like we said, there was shady shit that went on with the mail-in balloting. There has
for sure.
to be.
Well, that's what I said to him.
To
that's what I said to him. I was like, dude, it's like, well, this fake election stuff, with all the fraud. I go, well, it's not fake. He's like, yes, it is. I go, no, they're just not covering it in the media. Go look. And he's like, well, how do you know? How do you know that's true? I go, because it's court cases. There's someone in Wisconsin that was charged. There's the hearing in Atlanta where they can't find 300,000 ballots. That's real. That's perjury if they lie. It was a hearing.
Right.
The hearing in Arizona where they're struggling in Maricopa County to come up with their ballots. Like, there's shit all over the place. The guy that had the ballots in his car in Minneapolis for Elon, he was charged. Guess what? That was in court. That's the truth.
Right.
It's not being covered.
Right.
So it's not. Was it enough to turn over the election?
I don't know.
We'll never know. We'll never know. But it's not zero.
And we talked about it before.
It's not zero.
They said initially they were like, well, there was absolutely no proof of election fraud until there's proof. And then they're like, well, it's not enough to change the course of the election.
Well, maybe.
But you know what? The answer should be zero election fraud.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And the fact that you're accepting, well, it wasn't terrible. I mean, it wouldn't have let Trump win. You don't know that. I don't know that. We'll never know that.
We'll never know that.
Nobody's interested in
going
going
back. No one can
back.
say it will or it would or wouldn't.
Nobody's interested in going back and figuring it out. Right.
Right.
I mean, and if Trump's doing it, you're claiming he's
then it's biased.
Well, it's
right?
not
You're
even,
just doing it. You're just doing it to show whatever.
Well,
you're cherry picking your stats.
It's not even that. They were saying things like, "Well, he just refuses to secede power."
Right.
Right. And you're like, "Well,
he did though.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. I mean, I don't know if he did or he didn't, because he left.
He left.
I mean, if you would have said, well, if Trump would have been like, yeah, I'm not leaving until this is done, then we got an issue.
Then we got a big problem.
But he left. He did. He went out kicking and screaming.
He did.
Right?
And I think, honestly, to go back to the debate, I think that was probably his strongest point was when he said that he could retaliate, right? And he said, well, yeah, I'm going to retaliate by winning.
Right.
Like that, a success is our retribution.
Right. That was good.
That was a good line. It was a good line.
Going back to the whole Trump not leaving power, and even in in Congress and they were trying to ratify the vote, right? They were trying to the J20 crap or the J6 crap. What are the odds that if that protest doesn't take place, if they don't storm the Capitol, that maybe the Republicans do get them to say, yeah, we're not recognizing this?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, we'll never know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that when that happened, it was over.
Yeah. At that point,
you had no choice. You were going to
correct.
You were going to fall in line and just say whatever.
Correct.
So I mean, that could have actually
gone the other way.
J6 could have completely fucked everything, every plan that Trump had up.
Yeah.
Every Trump plan that he had with Mike Pence being there, being like, I'm not accepting this vote because you, and you. Mm-hmm. There were several members and states that were like, yeah, we're not doing it. And then all of a sudden they just fell in line.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there's a chance or the potential that it did go the other way because of J6.
Well, because of the optics of it.
Yeah.
Right.
And nobody wanted to be a part of that, right?
Right.
I mean, it looked bad.
Not part of that. For sure it looked bad.
And now we know that FBI was undercover in there instigating stuff.
Yeah.
We know that
Antifa was there.
We know that Pelosi was supposed to have National Guard troops.
She's on camera now. Like, and she came out and like, oh, that's not true. Really? It was your daughter.
It's your daughter.
Your daughter filmed you in the parking garage.
The day of.
Yes.
Right? So, I mean, you have all these things.
While it was happening.
And I get that. Here's the thing that gets me, like, why they've gone after J6 as hard as they have. If you're an elite, if you're one of the power players in the Washington inside, and you came that close to the American public snatching you out and basically turning you into Muammar Gaddafi, you know how scary that is for them?
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be terrifying. Like, they had you pinned against a wall, and they were pounding on doors saying, get out here. You're going to answer to us now. Mm-hmm. They've seen it in all these third world countries, and they were shitting bricks.
Yeah.
That's why they went so hard. That's why they've done what they've done.
That's why they deleted all the evidence, which he talked about.
Absolutely. And
I thought that was a good point too. They deleted all of the evidence.
Right. Well, you'll never know.
No one will ever know what they had.
And here's the thing too. After they've deleted the evidence, do you think that strengthens his case to go in and pardon people? Commute sentences?
I think so.
I would agree, right? If it wasn't important enough for you to keep the evidence, the camera footage, we still don't know who the hell the pipe bomber was.
Yeah, for sure. I think give me a second to talk about this. Do it.
Washington, D.C. has the most cameras of any place in America. You've got the best agencies on the planet in that area.
Yeah, there's so many.
You've got the CIA, NSA. You've got military intelligence. You've got how many other alphabet soup agencies that can help you?
Well, even Capitol Police, Secret Service, FBI, they all have uniformed police.
So you're telling me you can't figure out who put this pipe bomb? Why are we not hearing anything about the pipe bomb?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
And my guess, I'm going to go into the conspiracy realm here, is it because it was somebody on the other side trying to set the grounds for, okay, if things don't happen, we're going to blow this up and then we're going to blame it on this side. Mm-hmm. Mark my words, we'll figure out somewhere down the road who this person was, and it's going to be somebody on the left. That's who it's going to be. Because if it was somebody on the right, we'd already fucking know.
Yeah,
we would know.
You would know.
We would already know who it is, they'd already be in prison.
Yeah.
They'd be locked away.
Yeah, for sure.
And so when you don't know things like that, that's almost like an admission, a silent admission, right? When they're not coming out and saying it, you know why they're not saying it. Mm-hmm. When the people that are in power that have the choice, like the J6ers, like was it 3 Republicans sat on this J6 committee that all hate
2
Trump?
Or 3?
Kissinger or Kensinger?
Yeah.
And
what's her name?
Yeah.
Cheney.
Liz Cheney. Was it 2? And I mean, they were terrible. I mean, they're swampy as you can get.
Yeah,
Daddy was part of the no-bid contract to Halliburton and KBI and invaded Iraq on bullshit information.
Yeah.
Went to Afghanistan and attacked the Taliban, not Al-Qaeda. I mean, there's so much bullshit with that family that it's ridiculous. And then Kensinger is he's a joke too.
Yeah, he was definitely a warmonger. So he was in that.
Yeah, group. He's in that side. They're both uniparty.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, if the uniparty had a chance to frickin' dime out whoever it was that left a bomb, because that's a big issue. There's a bomb left in Capitol Hill, right?
Yeah.
We know nothing about it.
Nothing.
Not a word.
It's classified.
So if it's classified and they keep it classified, you know why?
Yeah.
It's because it's CIA. or it's because it's the FBI, or it's because some intel agencies put it there and they got caught, and now you can't know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We need to know that. That's a huge thing out of J6. But all the shit, like you said, all the information, gone.
It's gone.
Gone. Well, why'd that happen?
Yeah.
It's kind of like Hillary's emails.
Yeah.
30,000 emails.
Because they didn't
gone.
want the Republicans to take over.
Absolutely.
And have
Absolutely
that
they
stuff.
didn't.
Everything was gone.
Everything. And, I mean, video footage, gone.
Well, I thought all the video footage was out.
A lot of, there's no way it's all out.
Well,
There's no way.
Maybe
or
not.
we would know who put the pipe bombs in place. Who put
that part. I thought you talking just inside the Capitol.
Oh, yeah. There's all that stuff.
All that stuff's out. Yeah.
I mean, there's no way they've given everything. The stuff
Correct.
that you're never going to
Correct.
see,
Yeah.
the stuff that's gone,
Yeah.
would give Trump the edge to say, okay, this happened or this happened.
Yeah. That's why I hope that he goes in and declassifies everything.
I would love that as well. Do I see it happening? I don't.
No, neither do I.
I don't. I mean, for fuck's sakes, JFK, he was either under Trump or at the end of Obama, had reached the limitations where they were going to release all the information
Yeah.
for JFK, and they're like, oh, no,
They're
we're pushing
still not
this,
doing it.
We're pushing this down the road. Well, why would you do that? Well,
Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah, because the CIA was involved.
yes, obviously there's something nefarious there that they want it so far down the road that our grandkids who give two shits about what happened to Kennedy.
Yeah, like, whoa, that was really fucked up.
Yeah,
man.
that's crazy. It's
Yeah,
terrible.
Nobody that remembers it
Nobody
happening.
that's close to the source, right? So I mean, that's disgusting. I hope he does come in and I hope he blows stuff up, but I don't know. I think he's going to be like we talked about. He's going to be embattled from the time he gets in office to the time he's out, and they'll try.
They'll try. That's why they need that super majority.
Yeah, I mean, oh my God, if he gets that, the first 2 years are going to be wild.
After if Biden doesn't step down and they're stuck with him because they have to get him to step down or they are stuck with him.
Yeah,
They could. They were talking about that too, that it's going to affect all the way because Biden people aren't going to show up.
I would. Yeah, no. I mean,
So your down ballot is going to, it could crush the Dems.
let's hope.
Yeah, we can hope. Well, I'd like both parties to get crushed, but
Yeah, Dan Bongino says something that rings true to me a lot. Like, the Republicans aren't the answers to all your problems, but the Democrats damn sure are the cause of 95, to most of your problems.
for sure.
And he's been encouraging people to vote down ballot Republican for a long time because I'll take a Republican who's a swamp rat over any Democrat who's woke.
Yeah.
So, but then again, there's the uniparty problem, and that's what I hate about Washington is that there's so many frickin' Republicans that are uniparty that even if you put them in place, it's still a detriment to Trump and anybody trying to fix the system. But if you go the other way, it gets worse.
Yeah.
So if you're a voter out there and you're not going to vote because you don't like they're uniparty, they're swamp creatures, you still have to put them in. I mean, we have to deal with that later.
Yeah, we can deal with that later.
It has to, and I'm hoping that we figure it out. And
Well, hopefully we don't. I mean, hopefully Trump will stand up a little more than he did the first time.
yeah, I don't know. Like the first time they were saying he was a dictator, and they were saying this, and he was trying to get reelected, so I don't think you could go full Monty on everything. And this time, I think he doesn't care.
Well, I think there's definitely that part of it, but I think that the first time he felt like he needed to have some of those people to get shit done. Like we've talked about.
Yeah, he did.
And I don't think he does this time.
Well, I think one of the
Because
things
he knows.
Yep.
And he knows the process better.
Right. He's a businessman.
Yeah.
He knows the ins and outs.
Yeah.
You don't think this man has learned from his time in Washington
for sure.
who he can go to and who he has put those people together. He's going to surround himself with all the people that he needs. And I honestly kind of hope he does go scorched earth just to see what.
So do I.
Just destroy the system, burn it all down, and start over.
You have to.
Start over.
You have to before it gets out of control.
It already. Yeah, I mean we're there.
Yeah,
we
are there.
The worst thing they could have done was go after him legally and fail. If they fail, oh my God, this man.
Well, they are going to fail. It's just going to take time.
Yep. And I think now we're seeing with this debate, like, bro, if you're right, the down ballot stuff takes place and they lose seats and we do get that super majority back. Ooh, hang on.
You need 60 in the Senate. You need how many in the House?
Yeah. Hang on, and we'll see what happens. Yeah. Because there's nothing you can do. His agenda is going to come through.
Yeah, no, there would be nothing you could do.
It's going to be good.
Hopefully.
We'll see.
Hopefully.
All right, well, outside of a bird in the background going ape shit and it being windy and us getting off topic and going off the rails.
Not bad for the garage, though.
No, not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. The new mic
What'd
stands.
What'd you do to get sent to the garage? We shouldn't talk about that on air.
I didn't want to be around tons of kids.
Oh, that's what it was? I thought it was because your wife's here.
No, there was going to be people coming in and out.
I got you.
And there was just going to be like every 5 minutes we were going to have to stop.
Yeah.
Loud, annoying kids.
Right now.
It's softball today.
Softball.
And this rainy, it's going to be miserable.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
3 more tournaments.
Cool.
And then she's done.
Today?
No. This week, then we have the 4th off. And then we go on an 11-day stretch from here to...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We're up north in northern Minnesota all the way out to Illinois afterwards. And
that sucks, those back-to-backs.
Yes.
From up north to down to Illinois.
Yes, it's going to suck. But that ends in the national tournament, and we'll see how they do.
Yeah, right on.
They're doing better, so that's good.
Yeah.
They made a good stand at state. They took 3rd. So that was pretty sweet.
That's cool.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah, but that's why we're in the garage.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for birds...
honestly, I think it sounds a little better.
It's less acoustic.
It's not... Yeah, it doesn't have the echoey a little bit with the hardwood floors.
And I like these mic stands.
I do like the mic stands. Yeah. And I kind of like being in the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just missing some projects.
Yeah, that's all. We could just start using a saw while we do it next time.
Right. And turn this into like true blue.
Yeah.
We got some ideas in the works. Some T-shirts.
Yeah, maybe.
You already had a plan for that.
We've got somebody working on it.
Yeah.
I can say that.
Yeah.
Like they say at work, they're working on it.
Like they're working on it. Which if we...
means it's never happening.
Yeah. If we go by the time frame that we have, it could happen this year. It could happen 6 years from now.
Yeah.
It might not happen at all.
They didn't give a date.
Close the trend.
Yeah.
You could maybe see that coming, maybe not.
Maybe.
We're trying to move in the right direction.
We're trying to. We listen. People have asked for stuff like to support us. The best support you can give us right now is just spreading the word. Mm-hmm. Like we don't need money. We don't need anything like that. We just need people to listen. So the rest of it will work itself out. Somebody asked for if we had a Venmo set up. We're not going to do that for a while. But
I guess we should. We didn't really start this thing to be millionaires.
For sure.
You know what I mean? This is like a...
We'd probably prepare more if we did.
We're probably way more organized.
Yeah.
We appreciate everybody's support. I mean, it's
100%.
This is just awesome. This is us venting, and apparently a lot of people feel like we do because I've gotten a lot of people talking about it and giving us some good ideas about topics and stories, which is absolutely what we want. You know what I mean? Like
that's we talked about when we talked about doing this. We talked about making it interactive for you guys.
Yep.
And adding, like, hey, you find a story or whatever you want us to cover some topic, just hit us up on our social media page. I set a post up because apparently you can't post on there. You can comment on posts that we do, but they can't post. So that one guy told me, he's like, I can't figure it out. I'm not the smartest person, but I'll try to work on that and figure that out. We do have a YouTube channel now.
Yeah,
so we got a couple little shorts
on there.
Well, we got one short and one video. I don't know why one went as a short and one did not. Maybe because it was a little too long.
Yeah.
But we got a couple videos on there. That's just Blue Collar Takes. It's all one word. We have our Facebook, Instagram, X.
Truth.
Yeah. So our website, bluecollartakes.com. That'll take you everywhere. I think, maybe not the YouTube channel. I'll get that on there.
Yeah. Leave comments if you have ideas of what you want us to do.
Yeah, comment. If you've got stories, like somebody sent us a bunch of stories, or an idea and a story, I think. And
that's a good one.
We're definitely covering that one.
That's a good one.
We're going to talk about that one today. However, with the debate being such a debacle, and the sheer panic out of the DNC still going right now, we decided we'd just cover the debate today, and then we'll try to do some more this week.
Yeah, we were kind of handicapped as well because I have to get out of here to go to softball. So
correct.
That we were kind of we wanted to go yesterday and do stuff yesterday, but the debate was Thursday, and we didn't want to be waiting.
Yeah, we figured we'd be doing another one then the next day.
Yeah, so we just said fuck it, let's just do the debate, and we'll make it the longest episode we have, and add a bunch of stuff from topics we're going to cover.
Yeah, and we didn't even add stuff from. It's still the longest episode. We didn't even add the stuff. We were like, oh, we just tie in all the stuff we were going to do to the debate.
6 days later.
Yeah. So yeah, we do have immigration. We have stuff on trans. We have stuff on why am I drawing a blank?
The trans rights.
The commandments in school.
Yep.
I think that'll be an interesting one that I think will take a turn that people don't expect.
Mm-hmm. Trafficking.
Trafficking. Yeah, we'll talk about that with the immigration. Mm-hmm. Just all sorts of stuff. We're gonna get there.
Election interference
at some point. Yeah. Well, that's the one that somebody brought up. Yep, out of Wisconsin. A case out of Wisconsin.
And we're gonna tie that into the national stuff. Stuff that we.
We'll get the actual stuff out of Atlanta and Arizona, so we have the facts of the cases, the people that have been convicted, the people that the hearings that they've found stuff that they don't know about, all that stuff. Even the Dominion machines that were hacked in the courtroom that they said they couldn't get hacked.
Somebody sent me an article, and I don't know. I have to run this down, but did Soros buy
Dominion?
Some of those voting machines?
I don't know. I've never heard that.
Because, bro,
well, let's wait. We'll research this for the next one.
I'll show you.
This is already long enough.
But I was just like, huh?
Yeah, that's going to be fucked up if that happened.
Yeah, I got to look that down because I got that this morning, and I was like, this can't be real.
Yeah.
This is too good to be true.
We're going to have to look that up.
Too good to be true.
Yeah.
So usually when it's too good to be true, it is too good to be true.
It is. It's somewhere in the middle.
But I figured you'd probably know if I
haven't heard any of that.
Okay. So all this stuff's coming.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, everything's coming.
And when we do get established, we will do the T-shirt deal. We have somebody working on it.
Yeah, we do have somebody coming up with some
ideas that are kind of neat.
Yeah.
That fit our jumbo fuck of a life.
All of it.
So, yeah, we appreciate the support. I was surprised, like I sent that text to you coming into work and seeing stuff on whiteboards that I was like, oh, I know what that means.
Yeah, some of our quotes are showing up at work.
Yeah, and
which is kind of funny because when we started, we were like, we're not telling people.
We didn't want to tell anybody.
Yeah, we didn't tell anyone. We just started recording. We told one person, and he was listening to it, and someone's like,
well, it started out with our guy who did our music for us.
The guy that did the music, yeah, because we needed music. We told him.
Yeah, and he was listening to some of the podcasts. Then another guy got it, and then he listened to it, and the other guy got it. The second guy who knew, I love both those guys. Both those guys are great guys.
For sure.
And then it kind of spread, and then we just kind of like, all right, fuck it. Yeah.
Well, that other guy's the guy that's working on our merch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's turn this into something, and then all four of us can leave.
I would love to.
Yeah. I think that's the motivating factor for those two.
Right.
He did tell me, he goes, you've got somebody on like every crew working for you right now. And I was like, well, you're not getting paid. So
it's technically not working.
You're volunteering.
You're doing nice things. Continue to do nice things because we can't afford to pay you.
For sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's cool. I mean, that's what this is. It's a community thing. Right?
For sure.
We're not, by no means are we geniuses. We're just looking stuff up and putting out the stories that are out there and stuff that we know people are pissed off about and stuff that interests us.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool that now people are offering ideas.
Yeah, for sure.
That's where we wanted.
That's exactly what we wanted, and we didn't tell anybody that's what we wanted.
Anyone.
Yeah.
And
for it to happen organically like that,
I thought that was cool.
That was awesome.
And I was so excited because when I got that text message, I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, because you must have sent that to both of us at the same time.
Yeah, we've been saying this forever. This is what we want. And then, I mean, that's what we wanted in the inception of this whole podcast. It was like, it'd be cool if people would just start jumping in and saying, hey, can you look at this?
A way for everyone to interact.
Yeah. And build a community of people that are, are starting to
people that want their voices heard.
Absolutely.
But maybe don't want their voice heard.
Right. They don't want to step out. We'll step out for you.
I don't care.
We'll step out for you at this point.
For sure.
If you want to stay quiet, send us the story. And
we won't even use we won't use names by now. We're talking about guy A and guy B.
Right. We'll blow ourselves up in the process. We don't care.
That's fine.
Yeah, I know.
You've already been there once.
Yeah.
Getting blown up.
This is a different kind.
Oh,
I don't know.
Shoot.
This is one of those ones where it's a 737
is this
over
one
a,
safer or not?
I think this is a 737, bro. I don't know that we're going to have control over this one. But
you guys only get Boeing flights.
Yeah, right. I'm picking the pilot.
Yeah. Can my family fly on an Airbus?
Right. You know, I don't know, man. It's kind of cool.
Boeing's going to suicide us.
Oof.
We've talked about Boeing several times. Very derogatory.
Well, yeah, we're getting sued.
I don't think they can.
Can they? Can they?
Well, I mean, I think after 3 accidents of the same thing, they can't.
Well, when Boeing can figure out how to keep a door on an airplane or a window, then they can come after us.
I think their lawyers are working on other things right now.
They're not worried about. They're not worried about us and our 20 followers, bro.
Not yet.
Yeah, they're apologizing in Congress still, so we're okay.
They're dodging subpoenas.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's exciting. I like where it's going, and I like the people that are listening and the ideas that are coming out. I think that's really cool, and keep it coming.
Yeah. Right on.
All right. Well, thanks for hanging with us. I think we've done this one to death, and we're going to take off.
Yep. Sounds good.
Thanks,
See ya.
everybody.